public.
And we're red.
What is this stuff?
This is attorney-client.
Public record. We're selling property, right?
He's not advising us.
I'll give you advice.
Put a hurt down on him.
That tree fell asleep when it did.
We're going to open this
Actually, it fell
meeting
across the
of
west town
August
line.
28th, 2014.
Yeah, 11 o'clock at night.
Let the record show that
the night of that
Selectman
big
Scanlon
storm?
is not present.
No, it wasn't
At
that
this
big.
time, we are going to do the closing on 16 Prospect Street. I need a motion from the board to authorize the chair to sign the DRA document, the real estate transfer tax declaration of consideration.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
All right, thanks. So
There will also be other documents that you'll need to do. You might want to do a blanket motion.
the redemption's all the board is going to sign.
So is this, are there, I guess there's other documents that the chair signed, so we might as well make another
Your notary stamp?
motion to sign necessary documents pertinent to the closing.
So moved.
So seconded?
All those in favor?
Aye.
That covers us, okay.
All right. Need you to sign on both pages, bottom where it says seller and has your name on it, initial at the bottom of this, I guess. Sign both. There you go. Yes, he is.
You want to swear down here? You can sign the documents with me.
All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it says it's under digital eye, so.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Well, he'll have to be ready to move when John comes in, but that's okay.
So what's your name?
Thank you, Pat.
Ben. Nice to meet you.
How are things?
Very good, thanks.
Good.
Glad to finally get over this. Thanks.
There you go.
Did you get an opportunity to go in and look?
I did.
And you like it?
I do, yes.
I was a little nervous about that because he said he didn't go in and see it yet. It's like, now I got to go home and tell my wife.
Yes, yes. Came home like, really?
That made me a little nervous.
Can you just tell me what papers are rolling around so I know what?
Okay, the first one was the CD, was it CD 57? Yeah. CD 57.
Which
is a declaration of consideration form for Department of Revenue Administration.
Okay, that's CD 57.
The next is, was a HUD settlement statement.
It's good.
Okay.
Now, I sent that all to the board members yesterday. I spent most of the day off and on with little Scott, with not Donna, the other woman that was an accurate title, and with Tim Pearson, making sure that, and talking with the water company and sewer's all set, to get everything into the right place. And we could go.
All right. Next is an affidavit of property owner, and it says, we agree that there are no other mortgages, liens, or attachments which need to be paid off other than those paid on the settlement statement in regards to the property listed above.
So just let me know when you want those signs.
Yep.
I've seen this
Here, all
form
of
before.
this.
What is this?
The state of New Hampshire, it shows the sales price of the
Okay.
property.
Thank you, Pat. The tax ID number for this? Okay. This is a certification of non-foreign status, which is required by the IRS, saying that the town of Tilton is not a foreign entity.
Sometimes I feel like it is.
Well, different planet maybe, but here you go, Joyce. Acknowledge that. Thank you.
This is the affidavit.
Sometimes we say do.
Get copies of all of this.
This is just the record of they're releasing everything.
Guaranteed. Long.
All right. First American Residential Mortgage Survey Affidavit.
No violations.
Yeah.
No tenants.
No tenants, no mechanics liens. Is this a mechanics liens affidavit also? Yeah. This essentially just says that there's nothing that's happened in the last 180 days as far as incurring any debt on the property, which might be perfected after the fact.
Essentially, you work with us after the closing.
Thank you, Pat. Well, hold on a second. Let's get this signed first, then she can... Okay. This is a compliance agreement.
Contradict what they were saying.
Buyers and sellers agreement. Persons signing below as buyer and seller hereby agree to cooperate fully with the accurate title in correction, adjustment, revision, or completion of documents executed, including the execution of omitted documents which customarily are executed in connection with the closing for the purposes of correction,
Days in here, are
clerical,
years,
typographical,
zero.
monetary, or other errors and omissions, the correction of which is deemed necessary or desirable by accurate title to bring the documentation of such transaction into conformity.
All right.
How much did they only split it for?
Yeah, about a year,
About a year.
yeah.
Yeah, it was about a year.
Okay, sign that.
And this explains that each prorate for property taxes and all prorations will be
Thank you, Pat.
today.
Okay.
Go.
Now, am I notarizing both of their signatures?
You are.
I'm gonna fit that in.
I'm sure you can do it. This is not a recordable document. So. Yeah.
N-A-Z.
NAWAZ.
How do you pronounce it? No.
Nawaz.
Nawaz.
N-A-Z-A-M.
A-M.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have the last name.
Okay, real estate tax adjustment, outstanding water sewer charges, hold harmless agreement. This is essentially going to tell you that everything has been prorated and that confirm receipt of explanation of proration of real estate taxes on the premises shown on the HUD-1 settlement statement by accurate title and prepared as a convenience for the parties. Accurate title shall not be held responsible for any errors or discrepancy regarding such adjustments, which may include but not limited to incorrect or insufficient records of reporting municipality, tax invoice not provided, not available at closing, or any change in New Hampshire general or case law.
Yeah, it is 603-848-3540.
We'll just put N-A there.
Sellers in the
Is it empty?
Very empty.
And the phone, what's the main phone number here?
286-4521,
Who should they ask for?
extension 101, Joyce.
I'm done with this email, but
Bless you.
Thank you.
Stuff.
you just remember the deed.
No, the deed.
We did pay New Hampshire blind. That was my question, text to Tim,
Okay.
that letter that we saw here.
I did it, that was when I was with Boston.
I have a clean one.
Yeah. Do you have one?
Well, I finished it.
I think that should be fine, but,
A clean one?
oh, do you have that one right there? Okay, yeah, that's the one you want to have signed. Yes, correct. That's all set. I didn't see the sleeve.
I just basically, I looked for the additional that wording, but I'll try to set that fine. It's already been switched. Thank you. By the town. I interpreted that anything took place by the town of Tilton, but
That's all right.
Charging, people signing the deed.
Joyce, that's not my name.
I can fix that.
Okay.
You want to wait a second? I'll do a second page. This one?
There's
My name is Miss.
error in the name.
I copied it over on everything. It was just a cut and paste. No. It's M.
Joseph M. Jasmine. That's an interesting question.
That second page. Yeah.
You want to ask me yourself?
I'm gonna have to do on my other one.
I'd look
We just
first.
write
Let's
M.
rename you. Martin? No. Joe?
Michael.
Jill.
It's a problem of a cut and paste.
Jonathan.
Jill. There you go.
Joe, Jonathan.
Joe John.
Go down.
We can call you JJ.
Hey, you.
Oh, my nephew.
have that deed returned to you, register like your front.
Yeah, 369.
Yeah, when I get the front page, I'll get it returned to you.
Is this a warranty deed or a quick claim?
Quick.
It's not Keys, but it's Portsmouth, it's right there.
I can't because it's a PDF,
You can't?
it's not a Word. An M, Joe?
Works for me. As long as it's legal, I'm good.
Yep. They're altering the driveway permit.
Okay.
School Street.
10 Academy Street,
And I'll do the same on
U540.
Okay,
Just, you,
so let's start again.
This is M. That says M,
Just that one, huh?
and that says M.
There you go. And we're good.
is this a new one that we're signing?
No, it's a PDF.
I know, but I had already signed it. I'll have to sign it again. There's a paper out there with my signature on it. I don't know.
Is it doable?
No, there is a name one out there with my signature on it. Nope, it's not.
Nope, already signed it.
Al and I signed one already.
Yeah.
There's another one out there. Look on your desk.
What did I just hand you?
You hand me a blank one.
There's one that you wrote on.
Yeah. Could have made an M on the other one, but either way, we've now got a preponderance of signatures.
There's no shredder upstairs. She's our official shredder upstairs.
She uses less electricity, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's my first and last name, nabazazam@hotmail.com. Equity does have it.
Recording all this, because I could get John to sign it. So she can do everything.
I'm leaving with everything.
You are?
Yeah, that's all we need.
So we just have to script this.
No, just leave it empty.
First and last name together @hotmail.com.
It makes it look like he's not he's not supposed to be signing it. It's just, if it's blank, he's not available.
If he shows up.
Right.
No, can take it. Right, but I can take that and sign it. What about Jonathan?
Majority,
Expect him to, this evening?
not until 4:30, 5 o'clock.
I'm just gonna tell the woman who reviewed it, I'm just gonna tell her and just say, can I just exit out here and exit out here? You know what I mean? If he's not here, I can.
Normally, when we draw a line where our name is, it just means we refuse to sign it.
It's a legal document with 3 or more of the selectmen's signatures.
You only need 3.
That's the majority.
Can we print it without that?
It's a PDF. It's a Word document, I could.
It would be illegal to print it without it because it's by the selectmen.
He's a selectman.
It would be illegal to print it without it because he's the selectman.
Yeah.
He's just not able to make it to the
So we
closing.
have 4 signatures, we only need 3. Hey, Stanley, can I talk to Kara? Yeah.
More the better. Just that he's at work, he can't make it at a 3:30 closing.
Last time we sold property, I didn't sign it. I was in
right.
Georgia.
You were in Georgia, right? And hold
On the town of Tilton deed, there's a place for 5 signatures. We only needed 3 signatures, 4 have signed it, so we have a blank line. Now, for purposes of recording, do you record it like that? Do you want me to put a line through his name and then acknowledge it? They're telling
Right,
me
not available?
3.
He's working.
No, I'm saying, can we just write not available?
Because he is,
I'd write absent.
Yeah.
he's on the board of selectmen. Someone suggested we could just put absent on the PD. They can't reprint it without his name on there. It's on PD, it's on a PDF.
Plus, he is a selectman.
Plus, he is a selectman and the attorney is saying that his name needs to appear
You
there.
wouldn't,
Although it needs to appear there, it does not need to be signed.
Convert a PDF into a Word document, yeah, just take it.
We still can't change it.
he stays.
He is a selectman.
We've done many closings with only 3 names on it. I mean, it's the majority of the selectmen.
Just put absent at time of closing.
I've never seen a person. Yeah.
Me either. Just leave it blank,
No, we just leave it blank.
and it's gone through just fine.
Lots of blanks sometimes.
Is that a family?
Yeah,
It's in there.
Ready to start working on it?
I was hoping you guys would like mow the lawn or something, but
I'll loan you my goats.
He's gonna get you to mow the lawn, right?
she actually did yesterday for me. Just because I left the lawnmower there, she just went and started at it.
As long as I don't have to transport it, I'm fine, I'll do it.
There you go. I think I'll leave my lawnmower in front of my house.
It had to have been a
Mine
beautiful
too.
home when it was built. It still shows its beauty, but
Yes.
it's worn.
I say I do
But
that
it
in my
had to have been
house.
just absolutely magnificent when that was built.
I don't leave my lawnmower sitting
Without
out
working,
waiting
there's
for
nothing.
somebody else.
You have an accomplishment when
And
you're done,
and I
yeah.
wish I could because my lawn needs mowing.
100 years plus?
More.
More than 100 years.
More than that, okay.
It was
That
George,
was a Tilton's home, wasn't it?
George Tilton's brother, Charles Tilton's brother lived there, George.
It's nice.
Yep,
The founding father's brother?
yep. Somebody said, I don't know how true it is, but somebody said he built it for his brother,
Probably.
which makes sense. He's the one that built all of the Tilton School, the mansions.
Oh.
That was his house up here, the big mansion, which is now the Tilton School Library. That was his house.
Okay.
And it has the same woodwork trimming that it has in your house now. So it makes sense that it's actually the same kind of,
Planning on
Gorgeous.
restoring most of it, you know. 37?
what's that? Yeah.
37.
16 Prospect.
Oh,
300?
They're looking up the statutes.
It's majority of the board, which is 3. We all signed it.
Okay.
Can't believe we're still doing this.
This is,
This-
The house we live in right now is about 100 years old too, but
hasn't changed in years.
can imagine how they built houses 300 years ago. That's how our barn is. All the wood packs and the timber. Timber and wood packs. That's nice. Do you still see the the timbers going through or?
We exposed a lot of them. There was just 41.
Yeah. No, I do like the timber.
41:8.
Kara, 41:8.
Go.
Where are we going here?
Just testing you.
Well, actions taken by selectmen must be voted on by a majority of the board.
Which is 3.
Majority is
Yeah,
3.
it is 41:8. It says the majority of the selectmen shall be competent in all cases.
It is 41, so it wasn't a joke.
It's 3,400. Gross living area is 3,400.
3,400, okay.
I know,
Effective area, 3,700.
2 units.
because otherwise it would have the effect if I didn't like this sale and I didn't sign, you couldn't execute. And that's silly if the majority of the selectmen say yes, that one person can say no.
So do you have more auctions coming up or for a while?
No.
Nope.
Tax season is in December. Usually it's July.
Okay.
Hey, gotta ask.
Luckily, we don't have to do that much.
Definitely. Leave your number.
We did not have any this one. The tax season in December, so we may. We don't know.
Hey,
We almost had a few, but they,
I like the Tilton Northfield area, so nice people who live in Franklin right now. I have
Nice place.
Huh?
I like it here. I was raised in the area and then moved away for 25 years, but I came back because it's really a nice place to live.
We have
What's
a rental in Northfield right now, and very nice people right around.
Insurance at 41 Coleman Ave?
It says, it's one little tiny sentence, it says the majority of the selectmen are
It's
competent
one tiny statement says the majority of the selectmen
to exercise all
are competent to exercise all necessary, et cetera. It's one sentence.
I'm printing to this printer.
Okay, I know I pick you, but why is that covering the rest of the sentence?
I get you.
It's kind of an important sentence.
The copier.
Can I see that for a minute?
I don't know why this,
Bring your laptop over here.
Same thing.
oh wait,
Going.
something, wait. Doing something.
It's doing something.
Same thing. Well, this one's worse.
No. Is there a mistake in that?
Okay, it says title from town city.
This is covering the language.
41, section 41, colon 8. Election and duties, every town, says the selectmen shall manage a majority of selectmen for the competent in office. We have the best 4 out of 5.
You're right.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
You know that old adage, trust me.
Yep.
We wanted
We wouldn't want it. Yeah.
it. We didn't say that. Better be on the table.
Well, we've been doing this for
look like the
6
kind of
years.
guy
I've been doing it
who
6
was
years.
stray.
Almost 15 with her. We sign the majority because not everyone can make it to a closing.
I get sick.
But we have to have at least 3, that's why we can't schedule.
I was gonna close on the 14th. House would have been done by now.
Yeah. We could have all done it on the 14th if we traveled to Ireland, but we couldn't.
This explained to her. I was like, yeah, it happens.
You're happy, sorry. Had a good time, right? All nice. Excellent. You're lucky.
Not gonna sign them.
For about 5 minutes, just
You're not going to sign it?
No, I have the language if we're gonna cover it up.
She can redo it.
get into, it's not an
All right,
accent.
okay, when she redoes it, I'll sign it.
Can you reprint these,
We don't need to do anything to the deed.
Joyce?
Well, we have to.
Reprint these, please. Thanks.
Well, I'll correct it as it is. Okay, fine. Thanks, Carol. Bye. We're good.
Okay, we're all done?
So that's it, now we got some other documents to sign here
Lien
for releasing leads.
There are 3 types of liens the town has recorded going back to 1990. Tax deferrals, general assistance, and property tax liens. There was also a quitclaim deed, and they deeded the property back to the former owners that had cited some liens.
Who's going to record these?
I don't mind recording. If that will help, then I could get John's signature on it.
No, she's taken those with her, Joyce.
Oh, you're taking,
Yes, I'm taking my file back to the office.
oh, you are, okay. Then
That's
I'll
fine.
record
If I
this.
can.
Yeah, and then you're just going to
You
record
don't need
those.
a
yeah.
signature. It's just,
I'm sorry, Joyce.
That's all right.
All right, so
So the property tax lien also at the end references what's mentioned in this quitclaim deed.
okay,
So there's no question.
okay.
And what's attached is just all the documentation.
Because I didn't hear all the way. So all the 3 mortgages against the building
Those were extinguished.
They are being extinguished right now. And any other deeds? Were there any mechanical deeds, anything else?
This is what was our deed research at the time we took the tax deed.
Okay.
Since that time, these have already been redeemed, so I didn't have to redeem those. But everything above this line has been redeemed, plus referencing that one deed when we deeded it back to the former property owner. There's no water due, there's no sewer due, there's
Great.
no...
The accurate had told me that when they did the search, they found 3 outstanding mortgages.
Our tax deed extinguished those.
No, great. I'm just
Yeah,
rather ask you now than later.
yeah. They had their opportunity, in fact, in the documents that I gave you.
Yep, you did.
Where they signed their return receipts saying, here's your chance to speak now or forever hold your peace.
No, Joyce was excellent. Every time I had a question, I emailed her right away, called her, she was available. So thank you.
Good job, folks.
I do have a present
There's 3.
for you.
God.
Give me a copy of the card to go home with,
All right.
and I'll email you the rest of the documents.
Just check these in.
You should be all set.
Give me a copy of the deed too, just for reviewing.
Oh, and then this is, so,
Anything else need to be copied?
You already have a copy of the signed?
Oh, we can do it up here.
Taking it.
Sounds good.
This one?
you want copies of these before I record them, or you want to wait till I send them to the registry? Is that all right? So you can go around my... Yep. Oh, so I have to down, so you just go, I'll send you the book. And I'll have John's signature on these as well. Oh, yeah.
Just copy right here, and I have one for my file.
Welcome.
Can I see the checks?
Doesn't correlate, that's the only thing.
This is an internal housekeeping matter. It's in the copy.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome. That's the
I think that's gonna work.
So she can, if I go, I'd like to get these on the same date.
I'm all set, guys. Thank you, though.
We need to sign these?
No, I'm just bringing it to your attention because
Sure, thank you.
she wouldn't accept just a transfer. She has to have a step.
Where's the breakdown of what the checks?
It's on
Must be the rule.
I have that.
And hers.
this one.
Well, then that was just silly.
Yeah, so is that.
Are we all set?
We're good. I just want to make sure she's all set with the checks.
Yep. I'm all set. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I have something to give
All right.
you. Hold on, don't leave yet. They just do it the yellow paper on it.
It's right there.
Right here. This is a copy of a building permit for that kitchen that was approved, and also a variance had been obtained from the zoning board of adjustment,
Okay, what is the kitchen approved? I already saw 2 kitchens in there.
because it's two-family. Can be a two-family.
Oh, it can be. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was already a 2-family.
And then this deed from when the former property owners purchase it gives you an accurate description of the lot.
All right.
The tax deed,
Tax deed does not. so you
Okay.
do that.
but that has the meets and bounds.
All right, great. And I will be in touch, of course, with all the questions for the remodeling.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fanny.
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you, nice meeting you.
Call me if you have any questions.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Bye.
One of my questions would be, and I'll follow up, like set up a time with you to meet you over there. It's like maybe when I move the kitchen from one room to the other room, make the bedroom bigger, make the kitchen smaller. So I'll just ask you that.
Contact me next week and we'll get together.
Perfect.
All right?
All right.
And I also have a list of contractors that are certified by the state. I don't know if they're certified, but
Okay.
No certification for contractors in the state.
State of
no, I
New
meant
Hampshire.
for the asbestos.
Oh, for asbestos? Oh, yes.
I have
Yes.
that list.
All right.
And a list of contractors.
All right. I did saw the asbestos in the basement. So, yep, that'd be great. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
I have to go give this to Cindy.
Right.
It's just that,
Want to take these down?
Wait a minute, why are you giving her our money?
oh, no, this is outside of the
Oh, okay.
proceeds.
You can give her that money then. Just don't give her our money.
Are you all set with me?
We are. Thank you very much.
I
Appreciate
could
it.
think of something.
Now, we have a very tight schedule here. We gotta
Can I
get,
leave this mess like here just for now?
yep, because you're gonna be on pretty soon. All right.
Thank you, Scott.
Very welcome, thank you. Thank you, Catherine.
We'll keep
Everybody have
this.
a good evening?
Yep, you too. Thank
Have a
you.
good long
Have a
weekend.
nice holiday.
This is the first issue.
Okay. Senator Forrester's coming at 4:30.
Seal was covering up part of the thing. I'll be right back.
Hey, Joyce, real quick, this Patricia Garcia, Tony Turchin property?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sorry, what did you say? For what?
the Tony Turchin
Yes.
hazardous waste site.
Yeah, but she got her clean bill of health.
I know, but it will be in perpetuity.
Okay. Let's pull the minutes. We also have something to talk about on School Street, on 6 School Street, allowing someone to park in the municipal parking lot, handicap space at night. It's come up during the week. Make a motion, we bring the minutes of July 17th to the floor for discussion and corrections.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Hi, Jeannie, how are you? Do you want to just take Jeannie and we'll go forward?
Sure.
Want to do that? If Senator Forrester is here, why don't we just take her and go
Sure.
forward? All right.
Hold on, these for a second.
Senator Forrester, you all set to speak with us? Okay, you're here a little bit early, but we can take you, we're just going to do the minutes. But we have such a tight schedule, and I know you're on a tight schedule, so that would be perfect. So come on up. We'll put the minutes aside for now, and
Well, thanks for giving me a few minutes. I just wanted to stop by, give you an update at, what's gone on at the end of session, like I try to do every time. I think we had like 30 session days, over 700 bills, 242 of them passed. And at this point, they're either all signed into law or they've been vetoed, and we'll have to go back and look at some of those vetoes. The big issues were energy, infrastructure, healthcare, and municipal issues. Healthcare, protection Medicaid expansion passed. 4.2 cent gas tax passed. And a lot of other bills, but those two affect towns and probably, and the greater, I guess, the greater state of New Hampshire. We also had passage of a bill that had to do with FEMA funds back to the communities. I think you, I haven't looked at, did you have any emergency?
I don't think Tilton had any FEMA.
Hill. We didn't have any on Hill Road, right? No,
I don't think FEMA was involved in that at all.
I don't think so. Well, they came, and they were involved in it, but I'm not sure that there were monies that were coming.
Let me look and see. And you know, Tilton is not in there, so you didn't have anything that you applied for the last.
Right.
It was like in 2010. But in terms of gas tax, you probably saw the amount that you'll be getting starting in 2016, which is $7,300 starting in 2016 and over the next 18 years. A total of $128,000 is what the town of Tilton will get. And let me see what else. I am running again. And I want to tell you what it is I want to work on. Big issue for me is energy in the state of New Hampshire, and tied into that is northern pass and wind turbines. And it's not so much about the projects themselves, but it's about being intentional about what happens in the state of New Hampshire and what we want to happen, not what some outside corporation wants to happen for the state of New Hampshire. I think it's important that the people have a voice. I was the prime sponsor on a bill that before public interest on the site evaluation so that the towns are taken into consideration, and of course the whole issue of private property, protecting private property. The other thing I want to really focus on, and I tried this session, I had a bill, it did get killed, which was put more money into the rainy day fund. Much like you have a savings account here, we have one in the state. Ours is about $9 million in that account. According to the treasurer, when she came and testified, we should have about $140 million in the account. According to the treasurer, the amount we have right now, we could run state government for 2.2 days.
That's frightening.
It's very frightening, and I think we really need to start working on that, and kind of in conjunction with that, the thing that starts to really concern me, once I became the chair of the Senate Finance Committee, I started getting invited to kind of educational forums on fiscal management. And we don't have a state fiscal emergency plan. I think it's something we should think about doing. When you look at what's happening on the federal level, yeah, $1 billion debt, growing and growing, gridlock, not getting in Washington. It's only going to be a matter of time before the money either really stops flowing completely or is greatly reduced. The state of New Hampshire, our budget, only 30% of our budget is dependent on federal funds. That makes up our budget. We're in a lot better shape than most states. We have a higher amount, but if that 30% is going away, we don't have a plan for how to deal with that reduction of that loss of funds. So,
What is the majority of that 30%? Is it highway?
highway and health and human services.
So I thought.
Say health, yeah.
And then I did get named to the committee to look at sustainability of our roads and bridges, the funding of roads and bridges, the funding of DOT. We had a first committee meeting yesterday or the day before. We'll be meeting almost weekly from now until the time the report is due, which is the
John brought in pieces of 93 that's been falling underneath the bridge.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there's big sections out of it. It's bad.
No, I was here in Tilton a couple of days ago and saw the cross from Dairy Queen.
Oh, I know just what you mean. Yeah, you mean the guardrails that are only there for looks? And what is of them? The rotted guardrails that are only there for looks. Yeah, that's a town joke.
Yeah, wow, it's not a...
It's a huge safety hazard.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
So, and my husband was with me, he's a civil environmental engineer.
You must-
So, I'm working with DOT to try to get him to come out there and look at it. I don't know what they'll do, but,
Yeah.
and they, my understanding is they have been made aware of it before, and this has been like this for like 10, 15
Yeah.
years.
A long time. I don't know how long. You could probably answer that one, Catherine, how long
What?
it's been like that.
Oh,
I know it's at least 6 years on my end.
yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, it's
Way
been,
back.
10, 12 years. It's been like that for a long time. A very long time.
I'm just amazed, somebody walking down the side of the street.
Well, we in Tilton, we have some of those areas. If you take each municipality in the state, they have some of those areas. So now you look at like District 3 and the area they cover, they have thousands of those areas. We have, as bad as that, maybe 4 or 5. But now, so I can empathize with DOT, but on the other hand, it's such a safety issue. Somebody comes out of Dairy Queen just right, keeps on going. It's going to be awful. It's not going to be a fender bender.
Well, when I do ask them to come, is that something you're interested in being part of?
Sure, anything we can do to help.
Absolutely.
So I am serving on that committee. We're going to be working for the summer and fall to try to come up with some master plan about how we fund that agency, that department. And then the last thing that is really important to me is the problem that we're having with employees now calling the state. We do have an epidemic.
Yep.
I sit on the Governor's Commission for Drugs and Alcohol Treatment and Prevention. You may know that back in 2001, there was a law that was created to put a percentage of the sale of liquor, increase year-over-year, percentage would go into a fund, much like L-CHIP or DE,
Yep.
which money was supposed to come out of liquor, go into this fund and help to fund drug and alcohol prevention and treatment.
I remember that. It never did. Never did.
And
You can't say they don't have enough sales.
that's right.
Plenty of sales.
Right, and with the new, with Hooksick, I don't know if you've seen the wellness
Yes.
centers.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're predicting a real increase in
Yep.
sales. And so I've been talking with the governor's office, and I think there is a will to make it happen. Now, if ever there was a time to get this to happen, it's now. So it's
Yeah, I think that that's important. And I think I've read in the papers on a local level, getting the spice off of the shelves, which Tilton has done. Last year, we did an ordinance to get that off of the shelves, and I think that's really important. But we do, the resources, we have to have the resources in order to do that. We just can't do it alone.
and I have no idea how any of you feel about this, but it's been, I was just in Orford last night meeting with the selectmen, and,
Small town.
Very.
Very. That's where I'm going this weekend.
what's that?
That's why you're camping. It's a very small town.
And there was a gentleman in the audience who wanted me to work towards a legalization of he didn't ask me to respond, so they were kind of short on time, and then the night before, social in Bristol, and the issue, it keeps coming up, and I see a trend. There's a real push to legalize marijuana.
I think our marijuana laws are archaic and ridiculous. We put people in prison, and then we have to do that.
No, everybody says that, Joe.
It can't be a matter of health, because liquor will rot your brain, your liver, your kidneys, and it's proven, and they don't take that away, all right? And it can't be about prohibition, because you can drink all the whiskey you want and just get stinko drunk, but you can't smoke a joint, and they'll put you in jail for it.
Well, see, and that's what I hear, but when I talk to law enforcement, when I talk to corrections, the people who are in jail, when you ask about the people who are in our jails, they're not there for marijuana.
Right.
They're there for...
They've escalated, right.
I mean, they may get pulled over, they may find, or that might be the reason that they get pulled over. I don't know how that, how that works. But when I talk to law enforcement and corrections, the people who are in there are not in there for marijuana.
No,
They
but
tell me that,
this is what
marijuana is a gateway drug, okay? So, if I go to my pot dealer to buy marijuana, and he's got cocaine, maybe I'm gonna try cocaine. If you take the marijuana out of the hands of seedy drug dealers, you've quashed a whole different source of the drugs.
Here are two problems. Number one, it should be, I know we've gone towards legalizing it for medical use, and I personally have experienced that, not myself, but a woman who was going for treatment and had to procure it illegally, but it saved her life. There's no doubt she would have died without it. She wasn't eating. But the other is our young people. You have areas, and Tilton is one of them, there's low income here. So you have kids out there, and they can't, I think this is an oxymoron, they hard to get alcohol, but they do get pot, and they'll get busted for smoking, not selling, but smoking it. Well, now you've closed the door on them to perhaps joining the military, and sometimes that's the only door that's open to a low-income child that wants to further their education or go beyond being a Walmart greeter. That door is closed, and even as a juvenile, people think juvenile records cannot be open, but
They can.
for joining the military, those records are open. They see a use of marijuana. I mean, one kid's busted for a little bit of pot. That's done. He's done. He's no longer eligible to join the military.
So let me ask you this, because I hear this, and I go back to law enforcement, and I ask the question, and they say that's that's not happening, because I had a woman call me on the phone and go, really go into detail about it, and then I called the sheriff, and I called one of the, law enforcement people that I know, they told me that's not true. So do you have personal experience, or is it?
I can tell you of two kids that just got busted a week ago. One of them was arrested for possession. That he'll go through the process, he'll go through the court, that's on his record. He tries to join the military, and I know this young man. He doesn't have many avenues of getting out of his current life situation, let's say. And if he can graduate from high school, military opens a door. They have now closed it. Now, he could have been out there, he could have had a fifth of Jack Daniels, and he could have been falling down drunk. Well, guess what? That's not going to close the door to him joining the military. But that little marijuana cigarette, door's closed.
I will look into that.
And I understand that the police departments almost unanimously all don't want to have marijuana legalized. But I also understand that your constituents want marijuana legalized. The majority, I'll bet you, of your constituents want that, and you're a representative,
There's a certain
right?
amount of funding that comes from a marijuana drug bust to the police, let's face it.
That is part of it.
Yeah,
And they get to
drug
keep
money.
that money. And I'm not ascribing any ulterior motives to these people, but there is a benefit to them in this as well. But if they didn't have to chase around after joints, maybe they could chase around after something else.
It'd be one thing if alcohol was illegal, if,
Oh, yeah.
even cigarettes. I mean, caffeine is a drug.
I tell you, I have such a hard time with that, because when I sit in these, and these are the people on the front lines, where the governor's pushing drug and alcohol. We're not talking about law enforcement, we're talking about people who are the recovery and treatment people who have no vested interest in getting monetary gain. And I've been to an awful lot of these meetings and talked to parents, and I don't know if you saw the video of the young boy Alex who started, like, I think at 9 or 10 smoking marijuana and then went on to heroin.
Yeah.
At the age of 13. And when I have all these people who tell me this, and not only the social but the economic costs. You know, and I had the guy tell me last night, he said, well, we're spending all this money on enforcement. Okay, so we stopped spending money on enforcement and now we're spending more money on treatment and recovery.
But the courts aren't doing anything either, because I have firsthand experience of someone that was smoking pot since he was 9 years old. An OCD kind of a diagnosis, and self-diagnosed with marijuana, self-treated with marijuana. Heroin is cheaper than marijuana now.
Right.
And so the kids are using the heroin now instead of the pot. And so the court systems, they, you know, I've seen it in Manchester just 2 weeks ago in an event that I went to. The kids were smoking on the edge of the river. There were 4 of them. They all had joints. The police came up, and the police took the joints and said, keep on moving. They didn't do anything. They just said, keep on moving. And they didn't do anything about it. So the kids said, okay, we'll just pick it up on the end of the other road. No problem. You know, they didn't really care. But the courts are sending them home instead of, you know, with programs to educate them on heroin, because they don't have the money to go through the programs to say, this is what heroin can do to you. You know, it's a different story with marijuana, but heroin destroys the brain cells. It's earth-shattering.
And I was recently at a conference with doctors who will tell you,
Smoking's not good for you, let's face it.
yeah.
Absolutely. Are any of your substance people thinking about outlawing alcohol? Or is it just marijuana?
It's just marijuana.
Yeah.
That's because it's not legal now. Just because we have alcohol and cigarettes doesn't mean it's going to other drugs. I mean, where do you
If
stop
the
it?
people want them?
Then do you legalize heroin? If people want heroin, if they want cocaine, do you legalize cocaine? Where does it stop?
Where does it stop? Where's the line draw?
And then what do we do in terms of,
I think you find a hard time making that argument.
Alcohol kills in a lot of ways.
Cigarettes kill.
Cigarettes kill, and the state's in the business of selling alcohol. I mean,
And taxing
hello?
cigarettes.
What an oxymoron there is. People die, you know, innocent people die on the streets every day from drunk drivers. I don't think I've ever heard of somebody high on pot running into somebody else and killing them, because usually they're going about 16 miles an hour.
Going too slow.
But,
Right.
I mean, there's the oxymoron of it. The state is in the business of selling alcohol. And alcohol kills, definitely. Every which way.
Jeannie, not to change the subject, where are we with the veterans? I know you worked really hard to get the veterans on the license. We have the veterans on the license, but now Lowe's and Home Depot aren't honoring it.
I have a call into the folks, because I want to see if I can get to somebody at the top and have that
The
conversation.
corporate.
Yeah, because I was at an event. I was golf tournament.
Mayotte, yeah, right.
Unfortunately, I'd never met him. I think I'd never met him. He introduced himself, and so we had that conversation, and I know that's going on. I'm trying, but things don't always move fast, so it's something I'm working on.
I called the Home Depot corporate office in Atlanta, because I used to work for Home Depot, and they said it's not in every store. They are under the understanding that they still honor the veterans, and particularly in Connecticut, where they have the little flag, they still honor it. So it may just be a miscommunication out there that they're not honoring it. That's the feedback I got.
my understanding is that Home Depot and Lowe's are only honoring disabled veterans.
But they didn't always only
So,
honor disabled veterans. If you brought in your DD 214, you got your discount. And that, the DD 214 is not just the disabled.
right.
And you got it. So when I explained it to the corporate manager that I spoke with, I said they have to show their DD 214 in order to get it on their license. If Home Depot and Lowe's is aware of that, then, I mean, you always gave them the discount. Heck, I could go in there with my ladies auxiliary for the VFW and get it, but now you can't get it if you have it on the license. And I get probably 2 calls a week on that, and people have, kept that article in the paper and said that, they're not honoring it. And it's a cost to them because what they used to have with the old system, bringing in the DD 214, they would honor it. Now they're not honoring that. And that's a step back for us in the veterans support. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the welfare. We had asked the representatives, and I believe we asked you as well, to support some type of a bill that if they are dropped off on a bus in Tilton and call the welfare office, we own them. And, we don't feel that that's really fair. It's a law,
I know that.
and it's really cost-effective to us. I mean, it's just costly because we have Exit 20. We have hotels. They're being dropped off like...
I told you the story about one of my communities that has a rest stop right on 93.
Yep.
And did I ever tell
We're aware, no, you didn't, but we're aware of it.
you? Yeah.
Medical bills and everything.
Well, yeah, their van broke down and the town ended up having to get their car fixed in the town. And having been a former town administrator in a small town where I did the welfare stuff, I know, I've been there, I've seen it, but I wasn't aware that you had asked anyone to file legislation to stop it.
Yeah.
Our
We need to change
representatives.
it.
We need to change it because it's affecting all of us. It's affecting all our surrounding towns as well as us. I mean,
And I'm happy to do it because I think it's right, but I filed a bill on the electronic benefits transfer card, the EBT card.
Yes.
And what I was trying to do was make our laws like federal law, because we had to change last session, we had to introduce legislation, because federal law now says that you cannot use those federal funds for alcohol, tobacco, adult entertainment, tattoos, all these things. And so in this session, I tried to make our laws match the federal law so that they wouldn't be able to use the funds. And
it got defeated.
they killed it. And they needed more study. I don't know what more study it needed. And I actually...
Study of what?
Tell them to go to Market Basket and
Yeah, stand
just
in
wait in
line.
line.
I had one representative come in and testify and said, well, he said it's a good thing because it's helping sales of liquor and tobacco in the state, which is...
So they're taking our hard-earned money, turning it into alcohol, cigarettes, tattoos. and the-
Adult entertainment.
And the people that actually earn the money.
Well, there
That makes
are
sense.
some who strongly believe that it's their money and we shouldn't tell them how to spend
It's
it.
their money.
But what's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is to provide them with food.
Right, well, and
To require them to spend it on food doesn't seem that big a stretch.
You're bucking the civil liberties, that's what you're doing.
yeah. mean, there are two parts to that card. There's the federal piece, which is for food, and then the state piece, which is diapers or whatever, but they're taking that, and now, you know, they can cash that out and take the money and spend the money. So it's,
Wow.
so my point is, that I couldn't even get past. I'm happy to do this, and maybe it'll have a chance, but I'll put it on the list.
Great. Wonderful.
Great, we're on another list.
Yeah, hey, well, you know, I look at my list.
I love being on your list, Senator.
So,
And also let us know if we can help in any way, if you have something
well,
that
when
comes
it-
up that,
well, when it comes to this one, I'll ask you to come in and testify. And I'll ask you to help work on the legislation, because I think that's what is successful, is having that.
yeah.
We should contact other communities
Yeah.
and get their support.
So I know you said you're,
No, the seniors, I was just going to, Community Action Program right now is having a difficult time with seniors. All over with senior centers. Some of them are Meredith closed, Sunapee, they just said they had to move.
Ice cream social, and the seniors there were complaining because they wanted a senior center in Bristol. And I think there's smaller in Newfound, but the problem over in Meredith, as I understand it, is that the population, the numbers weren't there to support.
It's interesting that you would say that, Senator, because I have here the draft of the Lakes Region Plan. Planning Commission. Look at that, look at how we're aging. The seniors are growing.
Yeah.
It's not getting less, it's getting
Need
more.
more.
No, I get that, but the population who visit that senior center is not great.
Right, in the area.
I went to that one in Meredith,
Right.
and I've been to Plymouth, and I was up in Forest Meadow, you know, in Tilton. I mean, the population's there that go. When I go to Meredith, it's not, at least when I did.
We're in here in Tilton, we're increasing in numbers because other people are decreasing. And they just opened up another day to serve meals in Tilton, which, you know, is a huge benefit to us.
Meals on Wheels lost their lease.
So, John, I don't think that you've met Senator Forster, have you? John Scanlon is our newest selectman. Yeah. So, I guess what I'm saying is they've increased, so we're you know, settling in. We have our program director left, and they're trying to hire a new program director, but that's a little glitch that we're going through. But surrounding ones,
Is that the Merrimack Tri-County Path, is that yours?
yeah, Belknap County, Merrimack, right,
That's here, I didn't know that.
yep. And that's, so, that's Tilton Senior Center, yep. So they're you know, going through the hiring process. They actually hired someone, and then the person said no before they started, so they're going through it again. But all around, the seniors are, some towns, they really need help. It's not just Tilton. They're not getting the support. That I look around in any of the towns, whether it's Samberton, Northfield, I can't tell you how many calls in a week's time that we get for either, do you have any medical equipment that you can loan us, or a ride, or, you know, can you take me up to the senior center for a meal, or seniors that are calling in Northfield, they don't do anything for them.
You have a community caregivers group?
No, Franklin Visiting Nurses has a community companion program.
In Meredith, we have, it's actually the Meredith area, called community caregivers, and they give rides. I'm a volunteer.
Well, we have the volunteer driver program through CAP, but there's a lot of seniors in surrounding towns that aren't aware of that, and we can't reach them unless they call.
Yeah.
You know, they're not getting out. I can't go to Northfield and spread the word to say, here you go. There's a gap there. There's something, there's a whole gap. The state doesn't help out. It's the community action that's doing the work. And the community action, their funding is cut.
What about service?
ServiceLink too. Their funding is cut.
Maybe we
But
get
yes,
through
they
those,
do help. ServiceLink is a great link. We give that out downstairs for anyone that comes in, ServiceLink.
Maybe we can get a few of those EBT cards, we'll buy some stuff that you need. Oh, you know, I'm just saying.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, just throw it out there.
That's the way. But anyway, that's another area where there has to be more to do in our communities with the seniors, because we are falling through the cracks on that. It's just hard to reach on some of them. They're just hard to reach. We try our best to do what we do in Tilton. The surrounding towns, they don't have what we have. Sad. Cindy, you wanted to say something?
This is not on that subject. You were talking about the licenses with the vets. Does the state motor vehicle acknowledge and use that driver's license? Or
It's just-
are they still asking for the DD?
They ask for the DD 214.
They don't need that.
But if they have the license with the, I guess,
The veterans, they've already gone through that. Right.
So why would this,
You mean if somebody came in downstairs and asked for a veteran's plate?
I send them down to the state, do they have to bring their DD 214 to the state to get a veteran?
Well, Frank just went through that, and he didn't have to show the DD 214 the second time, but the first time to get it on his license, he did.
All right, so they are using the license.
That's hearsay from him, yes, yeah. But who knows?
That, I mean, I don't think, because it's a private company, it's more, it's goodwill that you really have to get after the corporations on a goodwill basis, not force. I don't think the state would ever force or could force a private company to do that.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so either. I wouldn't think so either. But
So I have a question for you. How's the issue of market?
well, they're back to work today. They settled last night.
Settled last night.
Yep.
But there was almost no cars in the lot.
It's
on the
not
way here.
completed.
$1.3 billion he bought it for.
But effective immediately, that RDT guy's in charge.
That's right. And the part-timers, because I have a part-timer living with me.
Would
Billion.
it be?
And the part-timers were all asked to come back to work today. And so we've been blessed in the area. And one of the things at Market Basket, through all the adversity that has gone on through Market Basket, they have reached out to the communities on things like eggs and things and given them to the food pantry and get Community Action Trip Center, Tilton Senior Center. I mean, almost daily, we've been delivering to the seniors and nonprofits. So, but it's gonna, now they're all back to work, every one of them today, and the parking lot was filled. Deliveries are gonna be slow the next couple of days, they said, but it should be back up and running in the next couple of days, fully stocked.
That's great.
So, but it has affected us because our welfare director has said that families have come in because there are families that work there. There are husband and wives and children that work at Market Basket, so it's affected the entire household income.
Now, have you, do they communicate with Department of Employment and Security? Because the commissioner, as I said, has been communicating with me almost daily, sending me updates, telling me what's happening, and he said there wasn't a lot of claims.
They were told, the part-timers were told that they couldn't do that. Because I know I have one that's staying with me, put in a claim, but was told that he couldn't do that. Employment security, yeah. It was ineligible. But the other ones put in claims, so I don't know where they are with that.
It takes a while, too. They're probably now that, it's been a few weeks, they're just getting that claim through and processed. It takes a while to get processed through unemployment.
But see, the full-time people up there, a lot of the full-time people were kept. And then all of the part-time, Hannaford took a lot of part-timers.
Yes, they did.
They took a lot of them. They had to, they were working their people 7 days a week.
So
It
did
was
BJ's.
packed. BJ's too, yeah. And Shaw's picked up a few up there in the Belknap. But yeah, it's over. I mean, the community really did. A lot of people that were supplying, local people that were supplying produce, it hurt a great deal because they had an abundance of produce that they couldn't deliver. But glad it's over. I'm really glad it's over. It's going to go down in business economic history. Let that.
Well, they succeeded.
They did.
And I think that's outstanding.
Without a union.
Yeah, they succeeded.
It was amazing what they
It's the only
did.
time I've ever heard of anything like that, though. A non-unionized company going out on strike because the billionaire owner got fired.
He treated them like he
Oh, no
treated
doubt.
them as part of the family and not as a number. And that's the big crutch of it, if you ask anybody.
There's a lot of companies that you should learn from this.
Right.
Yeah.
You ask anybody up there, they weren't a number. They were called by their first and last name, and they were part of the family on any level.
One of the things I've noticed is how vulnerable our food distribution system can be. Let's say Hannaford went and purchased Market Basket. Let's say that went that way. And then, for some reason, the employees of all Hannaford got mad and went on strike. Where would all these people go for food? We'd start having runs on, there's less places to purchase it. And one of the things I heard was a lot of people don't have vehicles and walk to stores. They were using their EBT cards to go to places like Cumberland Farms and eat the food off Cumberland Farms, which is very expensive, so they weren't eating properly. So our food infrastructure system can be pretty vulnerable. I went there first thing today when I heard it. Employees were
Yep.
shaking your hand, greeting you when you came in, thanking the customers.
Right. So they're back. Yep.
Well, maybe
That's
we
it.
should have this discussion further on legalization of marijuana.
Anytime you mind, Senator. I know you're a busy woman, but when it comes up again, please let me whisper in your ear. And I'll bring facts and figures and people and...
Don't bring the pot.
No, brownies.
Brownies.
It's like a twofer there.
All right.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Lady, have a good night.
Thank you.
When we get into the next session, this assumes that I'm reelected. November, we'll start looking at filing legislation, and I'll give you a call.
Okay.
All right.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
For years to go. Thank you very much.
All right, let's pick up the minutes. We have an extremely busy night, so if we can keep to the subject and keep on moving, we'll be okay.
Shut up and keep talking?
Yep. Yes, please. Motion's been made and seconded and voted on, so let's just go into the minutes.
Wow, I hope nobody wants water.
Why, there isn't any?
I don't know if He's dying. I don't think there's a full one. I think that one's empty under the table.
The one downstairs? or-
On page 4, it says on August 5th is National Night Out nationally. It's just take out that nationally. The second paragraph. It's just National Night Out. Any corrections, additions, or omissions? Make a motion, we accept the minutes of July 17th as amended.
Second?
Although, any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes?
Yes?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Joyce, moving right along. More than that. Wipe out the minute.
John, before you leave, I have to have you sign some lien redemption forms.
Okay.
That were part of the closing, so we need to
Okay.
put that in haste. Okay, here are the... I moved
Corrected?
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Wow. Wow. Moving right along.
Oh, it'll get bogged down any minute now.
No.
This is for our non-public legal with correspondence from Adele. Okay, we'll do the easy things quickly. The easy things first. I had received an email from Dari. The Tilton School is looking to do a masonry project, and they wanted to know, it's a part of an outdoor education program at the Tilton School. About 5 to 6 students would like to do some work at Island Park on the riverbanks to teach them stonework. So,
On the riverbank,
on the riverbank, and then...
specifically?
It's masonry. She says she's been teaching masonry at other schools for a while and was looking for a good place to do so around here. If there are a visual nuisance, we can have a specific timetable for when they get taken down. They will be designing and implementing their designs over the course of about a week. Arches, winding walls, and inverted cairns are all things that are commonly designed.
So it sounds to me like they want to design something for the island that is using stones. So when
Where would they get these stones? Did they bring them with them?
No, I guess at first in the conversation they had about possibly pulling some of those abutments, but those are huge.
Can't do the abutments.
They cannot take those out of the river and use them for anything other than what they were designed for.
We can't. If we could, we'd have a bunch of
we
guys
can-
down there stacking them up.
We can physically, if two people, human beings want to go in there and lift them, that's fine. We just can't put machinery in there. But those granite posts are part of the abutment of that island, and they should not be removed or altered to make.
Are you telling me
out
that
of-
we could go down there and rebuild that wall?
Permits
No.
to do it.
No,
If you
we
and I
can't
wanted
just
to
do
go
it.
down there and put a cantilever device there, and you and I stand in that water and lift those stones up, yes, we can do that. But if we want to take a piece of equipment, because that's typically, Kenny Partridge would come from the Northfield side when the river was down, drive it right across the river and use his bucket, and they'd put them in place. No, we can't do that.
But we could put them in place with people.
That's right.
To prevent further damage or
That's right.
temporary, consider it like temporary repair.
That's right.
Well, see,
You and I
I was
can physically get in the
under
river.
the impression that we had to have all these permits and the water people had to be involved and, oh my goodness,
Now, if you do it by hand.
Why don't you do it by
Rebuild
hand?
it, yeah.
why don't we just do it by hand?
So do you have any ideas?
Is there a lifted one of those suckers?
I can't lift it, but I'm sure that we can figure a way to get them up there. They stood up giant obelisks, they built a pyramid.
Oh, yeah, you
Done
could
it.
build a tripod with a, my father used to go out and cut a piece of hornbeam, ironwood.
What about designing some stonework on the island? Like, I can't.
Okay.
I mean,
where would you
there's
put
a
it?
wooden bridge. They have,
The island is so small.
they have cookers, don't they have charcoal cookers out there?
The barbecue.
They have a
stuff,
barbecue
thing.
pit, one,
One.
Well,
Is
it's
there
back to
something-
back, it's technically two.
but it's
Is that
one unit.
something that needs to be redesigned or worked? And
No,
then
we shouldn't alter that, that's,
What if they did something sort of on the island in stone where people get married?
Or over near the flowers. Those upside down cairns might be designed right into our flower thing there on,
I suppose if they design something in, because the flower bed really needs to be dug up and
Yes.
redone. It is overtaken.
Yeah.
If they're doing masonry, isn't some of the planters out here cracking some of the
No, I
bricks?
got some repairs to do to this one,
Is that
and I've
something-
got some concrete work to do to this one.
But what they
it's
want to
not-
do
this
is design,
art.
build, and,
This is art.
5 or 6 students for about a week, she said.
oh, this is, all right, this is just a
But I think-
sculpture type of
Yeah,
thing.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, her request to work on the riverbanks at the island park to teach some stonework, that's out.
No.
I see that opening up
Wait a
a
minute.
hole.
She can, if she were on the, say that again, if she wanted to be on the riverbank to teach, she can't use the riverbank material to do it with. But if she wanted to be on the riverbank to teach, there's nothing stopping her from doing that.
Well,
She should probably come in and talk to us, because it seems kind of vague.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be great to have something done or improved, but that's pretty,
It's
a little confusing. Are they
there's
talking
not-
about maybe they're going to reset the stones for us?
I agree with
them,
John.
or are they
It is
gonna
vague.
build
it
something?
sounds to me like they just want to create some stone
Sculptures.
sculpting.
Arches,
arch-
winding
Yeah,
walls,
it's, yeah.
inverted
It
cairns.
could, it might work over near those flowers, but not on the riverbank.
Over where the flowers, over where the flowers are, you know, even in, you know, the flower bed in an arch, that would be nice. I bet a lot of people would get married over that end.
All right, well, I'll call her and explain that anything having to do with those stones that are in the river that are part of the abutment are off limits. I mean,
Is there enough time for her to come in, or next week?
You could invite her,
the board would like her to come.
sure. I'd love to have a sculpture over there, but
Benjamin Sandri.
especially if they're bringing rocks.
And is there anything that has to be done at any of the graveyards with stonework?
We were thinking, like, you know, Port Buffalo Park doesn't get much attention.
Buffalo Park is a conservation
Yeah,
area
it's
and there's no
conservation area,
structures.
right.
In the graveyards, we can't touch the stone. They're not gonna do stones.
I'm talking about the wall,
No.
like, you know.
There might be some,
All
yeah,
falling apart, maybe they teach how to set the stones
if
up.
that's what they do, right?
Where?
Well,
We should get that woman in here.
Ice
Put it on
House
the
Pond,
agenda.
that graveyard there, I
I
think the
just-
stones
I'd
have
like it-
toppled over the years. and-
When,
No, that's a lot different what they want to do.
Yeah.
you know,
that is a
anything
lot
that we can
different.
help either, any of the schools with teaching.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
can come in next week to see us.
Now,
Everything-
that's September 4th? Now we've got Lauren
Second.
at 4:30.
Is
Maybe
that
they could do
September
the,
2nd?
Thursday's the
Fourth.
4th.
What, point the side of the building?
Oh, yeah,
They got a bunch of skinny students that can
crawl up
We
in there.
have Lauren at 4:30.
Yeah. I don't think that would take that long, but that's all I have for that day. Do you have anything else besides Lauren on that day, Catherine?
All I have.
All right.
Fun.
That's
Okay.
it.
So
No
I'll-
more, Catherine, on that
I'll call
day.
them, Catherine.
And then that's it. The 4th is shut off.
Now, and this is another fun thing, the gentleman that was a reporter for the Citizen Daily Sun, he's written a couple books, and now he's currently working on a new history book called Legendary Locals of New Hampshire's Lakes Region. And the book is expected to include between 100 and 200 people with pictures and should be available next summer. So he's looking for suggestions on anyone that you think is a local legend here
Jim
in
Dodge.
Tilton.
Yeah, I don't know
Well,
about legend.
That came to mind.
Jim Dodge.
I hope they say something about Bert.
Did I say Jim Dodge?
Who, Jim Dodge?
Yeah.
Jim Dodge, yeah,
Dave Wadley.
Oh, Dave Wadley.
yeah. How about Bert? Oh, well, Bert's not in Tilton.
Bill Joslin.
Bill Joslin. Good person for him to talk to anyway.
Yep,
Yep, good idea.
yep.
So, think about it.
Yep, we'll think about it.
I think I forwarded this to the board, so,
Okay.
all right, that's a fun thing. The ad for the CDBG grant administrator for the Windy Hill Co-op feasibility study, I published that in the paper, and it's due Monday, September 15th. So on your meeting of the 17th,
I didn't say at what time.
I'm sorry, meeting of the 18th, review them. So far, I've heard from 2 people, because there's a list. They have to be vetted by the CDFA, that they have gone to all the training for CDBG grants. I mailed it out to 9 people,
Catherine, the 18th,
5, 6, 7, 8,
CDBG review.
10 people, and so far 2 have responded saying that they're unable to participate, that they're booked. They have jobs up in the North Country with CDBG grants. So just on the 18th to review those. Now, we still haven't received the contract documents signed. The grant was awarded, but it's supposed to be approved by governor and council before we can spend any money, so we wouldn't actually sign a contract until, so we're planning for that on the 18th. Our MS1 extension was approved, and on the 4th, Lauren is coming in, and she'll give us all our final values, our book, so we should be all set to go. We'll print an MS1.
No, good, because that was scheduled for the 7th
7th?
originally.
Yes, it
But
was.
you didn't have
Right.
part of it finished,
Right,
so we decided to wait.
right.
Well, that will make our town clerk or our tax collector very happy. Same person.
Right, I mean, well, we have to have it sent by September 1st, so. A few days off.
Yep.
That's something that I had given to the senator.
I wanted to bring that the Lakes Region Plan, their executive summary for 2015 to 2020 was in your
Yep.
packets.
I have a cassette. I forgot to bring it. I have a cassette that goes with that is more in-depth than...
Cassette?
I did say cassette. At least I didn't say 8-track. I have a CD that has the full report on it.
The other
I thought
thing...
you really meant cassette.
The other thing I'd sent to the board is that the Legislative Policy Committee from the New Hampshire Municipal Association, they're holding their conference on Friday, September 26th. I haven't really had an opportunity yet to read some of the proposals that have come in. But if you get a chance, if you see anything that you're interested in and you would like to go have some input, or you could go and talk about some of these other things that we had talked about tonight with Senator Forrester. I believe you can bring policies to the floor at this conference. And if any of you do decide to go, just let me know so that you can get a delegate card to vote. It's just one vote per community. So that whoever goes would be the official voting delegate. I haven't read it yet, but you all received it in an email. Where I need clarification, and this is where I'm going to need Catherine and John to help me, because I wasn't around for when the Conservation Commission met on the 21st. So what do I need to do with DOT? And I know that I already got in touch with Rip to send the revised plan, but there was a lot of discussion in the minutes about the type of fence, where the fence should be located, and that the Board of Selectmen, they've asked the Board of Selectmen to designate a no parking zone and wanting some signs up. So some of this is crossover with Conservation Commission Salmon Run. So,
Are you talking about Bill Rollins' email back to us with that, this is where we are, this is what we need for the driveway
yeah,
permit?
that, I'm fine, yes, I gave that sent that on to Rip already.
Maybe I can explain that there were a few questions that came up at the Conservation Commission meeting, the last one. They re-voted on the fence and...
Guardrail. Guardrail.
And decided to go with the guardrail. And one of the concerns is where it will be located. And it has to be, according to the DOT, where they'll allow it to be
We
located.
met with Bill Rollins on site from New
there's
Hampshire
no-
District 3. I don't know if you know Bill Rollins.
Yeah, well, what the conservation,
They're not going to come out and mark a line. They're not going to come out and put posts in, or I call it upside down paint, or flag it for us. What was asked of them is, we know where the right-of-way ends, but when they push snow back from the road, it goes well beyond the right-of-way. So the question was, where can we put this fence where your snow activities aren't going to damage it, knock it down, and it's going to be out of the way of it? But the other question was, where can we put it where there's not going to be enough space for a car to park well off the road? And as he stood there and looked at it, he said, if that fence was, if you look down the utility poles, just on the river side of those utility poles, it would be fine.
okay, well, now it's not going to be a fence. It's going to be a real guardrail to...
Same
606.
thing.
And does that go for the guardrail all the way up? Because the telephone poles get close to the street up by the police station. They're
Well,
like
we've
8
moved
feet
one
back.
now, but what I would do is, if I was on the Conservation Commission, I would go out there having what I just said, and I would stake it.
Have
And-
Concom stake it.
Yep, stake it. That's what Bill Rollins' guidelines are, and those aren't going to be, like I said, they're not going to be written down anywhere.
So many feet from the center of the road.
No, it's using those telephone poles as a guide. Stake it and meet them there with a 200-foot tape or a length of rope or something that you can tie around those posts and show them, this is where it's going to be. And then they'll say, well, move this back or not, but they're not going to do it for us.
And the next question that came up at the meeting was parking. Because, especially in the area down towards the river, downtown area. The telephone poles are further back, so that will create an area that will be inviting to people to park. So, do the selectmen wish to include that in their parking ordinance, that there'll be no parking through that area? And do they wish to put signs up?
State road. State highway. We don't regulate state highways. But, let's send I got Bill Rollins' email here.
Do we want to discourage?
What are you going to send, talk to us, what are you going to send Bill Rollins?
I'm trying to get to the thing so I can think.
How do we feel about?
I'm gonna, well, when we were there on the same day, I don't know how to do this. When we were there on the same day, talking about the fence, that was brought up. It's not letting me do it.
So-
There it is. We talked about that, and there were things suggested that New Hampshire DOT would put up reflectors along, so if here's our fence, they'd put them up between our fence on the street, so that would be another, so people would see the fence, basically.
So people wouldn't be parking?
And that they would post it with no parking.
With no parking, okay.
So I was going to send Bill Rollins, because he's the one we met with,
Yeah.
a follow-up email, say we're, getting closer to the project. What about those no parking fence signs? Is New Hampshire DOT going to put them up? And what about the reflectors?
It's a good idea.
Now, this would be the entire length,
Yes.
Right.
starting from the Salmon Run parcel, not
Right.
this,
This is both properties.
both properties,
Because
correct?
that's where you're running the guardrail, right?
The proposal...
parking lot?
The preliminary proposal from one person that they're going to tweak would begin at the end of the guardrail that's there, around the curve.
That's on the Salmon Run property, right?
Salmon Run West.
Yes.
And
Martin's Meadows?
And it would proceed right from that with the guardrail specs. I believe it was 30 inches high, going down the full length to the driveway cut. That would need to be verified.
Well, Chuck had told me in communicating to Rip, is that not to tell him that it's, just tell him there will be a fence on the Ernie's piece. Not that it's going to be guardrail or split rail, because that hasn't really been decided yet.
No, that was decided, that was a
Still
vote.
getting-
That was a vote.
I'm telling you what he told me.
But I know from the minutes and everything, it was absolutely no fence, guardrail only, if possible, right up to the driveway opening.
That was the vote at the conservation meeting.
Right, because I had originally sent to him, please redo the plan for the DOT curb cut, no berm, just split rail fence. And then when I spoke with Chuck later in the day, he said, just tell him there's going to be a fence there.
Was that before the meeting?
This was Monday.
During the day?
Yeah, Rip, please disregard my
What time of the
previous
day?
email.
That was before the meeting. Didn't you
Yeah.
meet Monday night?
Yeah, and the decision was made, no fence
That's the
whatsoever.
prior week, though, I'm talking this week. I just got back this week, and on Monday, I spoke to...
How can he overrule a decision of the Conservation Commission?
I had,
Well, I
at
think
Wednesday,
it's-
August 22nd,
I don't think-
27th at 1:31, I emailed Rip, and I said, Rip, we're getting closer. DOT approved the curb cut, but they want a revised plan. In the meantime, the Concom decided against the berms. Now they've decided to go with guardrail. I'll send you the minutes as soon as I have them. That's because I didn't have the minutes from the August 21st meeting. Can you go ahead and give me a revised sheet? Attached are the July Concom minutes. I'll send you the August minutes as soon as I have them. This is where I believe they changed from split rail fence to a guardrail, but we need to know where DOT would allow us to place it and what specs we should be using. But now you're telling me that we should stake it and And then Chuck had reiterated in our conversation, he would like to know what the specs are, or we need to confirm what the specs are for a guardrail.
Yeah. I believe it's, and we discussed at the meeting, there's a state spec, I believe it's 606, that tells you what type of materials, the height, periodic maintenance on it, and all
And that's
that.
in your minutes.
I haven't seen the minutes yet because the meeting was just last week, so, but Chuck can verify that.
And there were some
well.
prices and,
So we're all set on that?
well, and just to finish that at 152, because in between then I had the conversation with Chuck, and he said, no, just tell them, no berm, just split rail. Unless I misunderstood him.
Yeah, I would,
Again, I didn't have the minutes to go by.
yeah. Chuck was pretty adamant, and everybody was voted on it, that there would be a guardrail right up to there, so I think that was just a slip of the words. You can verify it, but
Okay,
they were adamant about guardrail, not fence, so.
okay,
And it'll be right up to the driveway opening,
okay,
so that it's uniform.
okay. All the way. Okay. And then the other thing is, the wires, Bill Smith said it's not PSNH that transfers the wires, it's Fairpoint. I contacted the gentleman that we met with on site, Mark Myers, and he emailed me later today and said that he would find out who to contact to expedite that. I mean, what if it was somebody that, like a house, I mean, somebody that needed electricity?
One of those dead trees fell on them, then they'd have to get up over there and put them back up on the proper pole.
Okay, and then I put a telephone call into Robin at Lowe's. She hasn't gotten back to me yet. We did receive acceptance or permission from the Northfield Selectmen to go forward with receiving donated labor and materials to repair the roof at the Island gazebo. So I'll try and
Replace the roof, right?
replace the roof, the whole thing. And John, you gave me some information on
Yeah.
what type of shingles and,
That's up there, yeah, and I did a bunch of research on the shingles that they made it out of, and the best for that are the Western red cedar. Oh, Mike know all about this, but they're 18-inch, they're the, you know, the best for roofing, the best you can get.
Yep. So
And
I'll stay on
Allison
it.
said if there's money left over to get 2x4s and stain to replace benches on the inside, if there was.
2x4s.
2x4s and stain to redo some of the benches,
I can go over there,
if there's money left
I'll
over.
take some pictures of everything and materials, so they come up with a rough guesstimate.
Sound good? They have to have, it has to be expended by the end of September, so
End
we
of
have to work on it, right?
And Tim and I have been going back and forth with emails with our, the person that handles our electrical supplies. You know how we repurchase, we don't just use PSNH, we use a resupplier for electricity. Well, he also has access to national gas suppliers.
Yep.
And we've been using Glacial. And so that contract is expiring September 15th, so he gave us some new quotations with suppliers, and Tim and I both agree that we want a fixed rate, we don't want a variable rate. And to get the best rate is a 22-month term with Hess Direct. So he's asking if the board could make a motion to instruct the finance director to create I'm sorry, that's something else. To have the board go ahead with the
Hess proposal?
Hess proposal.
And authorize one person to sign.
The contract?
Yes, because it's only, the contract only has room for one signature,
Okay.
right here.
Okay, no, I don't have a copy of the contract. Did he
It's right
give that to you? Okay.
This is a contract. Well, I only have 4 copies.
I have one and John has one.
Of these? Oh, okay.
I put one over, it's right there. See, it
This
says
is the
copy,
original.
that,
So I'll make a motion that we go with Hess Direct for a 22-month term and authorize one person to sign the contract.
Second.
Any discussion?
Let Tim look it over, and, because he's the guru on the energy, so I got faith in that.
All right, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
And then the
Opposed? No, everybody did, right? Okay. Who do you want? Want the chair to sign? Because I just said one person, I didn't
As
say,
always.
ooh.
I would say be nice if the chair signed.
Yes.
Everybody okay with that?
Bye by night.
And the other thing he's recommending is to create a separate accounting fund for donations. And I think it's a great idea, because right now, I go through the selectmen's receipts when I do the summary of the selectmen's receipts for the treasurer, and then I make notes on who's donated money or supplies or services or whatever, and keep a running list of that. And it'd just be so much easier just to, like I do everything else, just call up an account number and it gives me everything instead of me manually keeping track of these.
Oh, wow.
So
Make more sense.
it makes more sense.
That what, all donations of any kind?
any kind.
Anything.
So,
Does he have permission to do that?
yes, because he's creating a new account number.
I make a motion to allow Tim to do new account number for donations.
Well, he has an actual motion here.
What is it?
It says, I move that we instruct the finance director to create a separate accounting fund for the purposes of donations, and to move any existing donation transactions into this fund grouped by donation purpose, and to post all donation revenues and expenditures to this fund by donation purpose, and to report such as may be required.
What she said. So moved.
Second.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine has this.
Motion's been made, and-
But you had made the motion.
I made the motion, it was.
All right, never mind.
motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained? Everybody said.
Make the job easier.
Before I send that to Bill, does that make sense? Does it ask everything we want?
Actually, it'll make it more
Can
transparent.
you copy me on that when you send it?
Either that or I can send it to you separately.
Oh, because you don't have to go in and do CC?
Well, I try to, but
Just pass it to her, she'll do CC. Okay,
I'll get her
Any
to
more?
you one way or another.
That was the only thing for him. I know you had a busy night tonight,
He
so I
requests
kept it
that people
simple.
pay
And
specific
also, 'cause I need time to
thank you.
check all this.
Much
Excellent.
appreciated. Okay,
But we'd have to go to the state.
I'm almost done to
There's a
give you a
manual.
full accounting,
I'll call him up and ask him that.
what has been spent
He'll tell me where to
on
go.
16 Prospect.
Oh, here, I know what to
And what
do.
we've been able to recoup, and what we just we have a line item in the chart of accounts called allowance for accounts, meaning so money that we weren't able to collect. I'm anxious to see what this number comes to.
okay. If all goes well and we keep this rolling, we can probably get our non-public done
Was bounce the ball.
prior to the ceremony tonight, and we could be done after the ceremony.
Bounce the ball.
Where is, the small piece of paper that I had with whatchamacallit's name on it? Okay.
Whatchamacallit?
Well, it's a little white piece of paper with John Cohen's name on it. Only about this big.
Nobody better touch my butterfly now.
Oh, what's
I don't know.
CC?
Is it yellow?
No, it's white,
White?
lined paper. It's a note from Catherine. All right, let me then just move on to the next one. We're all invited to the Tilton School, October 4th at 12:30 to the Birchfield Athletic Field dedication. I did, and I forwarded it to the Board of Selectmen, I did receive a complaint on the lighting. They were testing the lighting. And a person on Daniel Drive did express a huge concern about the lighting spillage. I called headmaster, and he is working with the individual. He's calling the lighting contract. Here it is. The lighting contractor, and they're going to look over the numbers and see if they need, the lights need adjustment. He's going to keep me in the loop, and I could forward everybody
Is it a
accordingly.
matter of the light is pointed in the wrong
Right,
direction?
it lit up her entire porch,
There's no shields to prevent it from
her entire porch,
polluting.
and it was 9:30 at night.
Yeah, that's,
And it was much, much lighter than any full moon, which was what it was explained to during the planning board meeting.
We're having another supermoon
And-
on September 8th. I believe that's going to be a perigee as well as the
Yeah.
moon we had in August.
But
That would be
She-
interesting if we could get,
A
I was
testing
gonna-
of it?
Well, I was going to email her back. I haven't emailed her because she emailed you and you talked to her, but I didn't email her back, but I was going to email her back and say, can we invade your property the night of the full moon?
Yeah.
Because it'd be interesting to see. It isn't perigee, it's not going to be as close as August, but it's still closer than normal.
Yeah.
To see what that full moon does. I mean, you could take a picture of a shadow that it created on a bush and then compare it, like, are they going to do another testing before October 4th? Of the lights?
if this lady
Yes.
objects, I don't think the moon has anything to do with it.
She would
Well, he
love
can-
us to come over any evening, just give her a call, the number is in the email.
It's in the email?
Right, and give her a call ahead of time and just come on over when the lights are on. You're not going to see anything, but we need to know when Tilton School is going to test them again, and Peter's going to let us know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It would be interesting to make the comparison because they used the full moon as a comparison that
Yeah.
night at the planning board.
if needed, I have an ambient light meter.
It's suggesting we shoot out the lights out.
Yes, that would be awesome.
I would get readings.
All right, we have
Right? Boom, boom. There we go.
September 17th, Wednesday, September 17th, at the Tilton Senior Center. We are invited by Community Action Program Belknap, Merrimack County, to participate in Senior Week. You are cordially invited to join the Elder Services to celebrate the wisdom, talent, and experience of our community senior citizens during National Senior Center Week, September 15th to the 19th. So it will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. 10 a.m. is coffee and pastries, 11:45 is a delicious lunch of pot roast, butternut squash, and wild rice. And they have programs too, so that's...
What's the date?
September 17th at, from 10 to 1. So, that's that on that. I'm thinking I'm going to bring this in non-public only because of the adverse effect. There was a domestic dispute the other day.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Okay, so I'll bring that up in the non-public. I briefly talked about Market Basket to thank them when Senator Forrester was here, so I'm not going to do that again. Last week, when I took over for Joyce, Catherine, and Tim, on Friday, we had several phone calls that Casella did not pick up on the West Main Street, all of Mechanic Street, Dr. Mishkan's office, and on Chestnut Street. There were a flurry of calls. The Highway Department did go and pick them up.
Was it the recycling, or?
No, it was the purple bags. They left the purple bags. However, to their defense, I found out later from Dr. Mishkan's office that there was some type of barricade with contractors across Mechanic Street. Yep. And I found that out later in the afternoon, which I conveyed to Arthur at the Highway Department. So,
Evidently, they've been blocking Mechanic Street without contacting the town or any regards to the citizens that live on Mechanic Street.
Which contractor was it?
they're working on that 249, the gray building, the contract workers, and they blocked it. They completely blocked it off.
Well, they can't do
No,
that.
they can't do it, and so when we see it, we need to say something about it. So, that's that. Okay, so moving right along, let's, who else has got something for us? Selectmen's reports. Joe, go ahead.
The master plan is, for the Lakes region is in a draft form. You've got the summaries. I believe you've each got a copy of the summary. I have a CD that goes with that, and I forgot the CD at my house, but I will bring it by tomorrow and drop it off here at Town Hall, so that goes into much more depth. On the 29th of September, at the Bean Conference Center up off of North Main Street in Laconia. It's off Blueberry Lane, actually. There's going to be a public session for input. The master plan is located on the LRPC website. I don't know if it's possible to put it on our website as well, or a link to it, so that people have the option of if they go on our website and they say, oh, Lakes Region Master Plan, and they click on that, it would take them to the LRPC. That's at 6 p.m. on the 29th, and you're all cordially invited to come along. I was part of the process, and as opposed to, this is not a concrete plan that, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. What we've done is identify issues, education, employment, housing, transportation, medical, demographics, water, tourism, and tried to lay out the things that struck us most apparently about each of these subjects, whether it's the need for senior transportation or preschool or whatever it is. So pleased to read the summary and check out the CD when I bring it in.
Can we help you?
I was wondering if the chief had a chance to talk to you about the sign over on the island. And it says, no weapons or knives allowed on the island.
Oh, yes, he did. He talked to me, I hadn't brought that up. Why don't you come on up in the front so we can hear you? The sign, let me rephrase that so that the board will kind of know what's going on. The sign says no weapons over there, but there was a recent court case in the RSA. You cannot say to people, refuse them the use to carry a weapon in a public place.
Only the state allows any kind of laws like that.
But the sign says no unauthorized possession of firearm or weapons.
Who's the authorizing figure? The state is the authorizing figure.
I think it's more than the state. I think don't you have to
police.
go to the police to get a permit?
Right.
But, see, it's got to do with...
This has to do with, okay, there's a 12-year-old over there with dad's gun.
In New Hampshire, the law says you need a permit for possession and conceal. You don't need a permit to carry it over. Here, all across the country, about the athletes that are carrying their rifles and trying to get their states to allow open carry of handguns. Yes, and the whole reason for that is...
Well, I think what they're saying is and what I'm saying is if you're authorized to, because it's legal and it's allowed to, you can. But if for some reason you are not allowed to have a gun because of state or federal laws, then you can't.
This was specifically
So it's,
asked, because the park commissioners
It's not
made
saying you
these rules, and it was asked of them by the Tilton Police Department to specifically put this language in, so that if they were over there and there's somebody who was not authorized to carry a firearm, they could, but off the island.
They have the power to remove them if they were unauthorized.
Is the only one that has the authority to determine who's authorized, so if I were to, if someone in the town is approved, and
Did you want to see
the
it?
person who openly carries a firearm because they never bothered to get concealed weapons permit, if they decide they want to go to the concert, state law says, since that's town property, they can go out there and listen to it, because the state has authorized them.
and they are authorized, and we would authorize them too, in that case.
Yeah, then they're authorized, and there's no problem, is there?
As long as, and with the sign there, the problem you might come up with is if someone on the island sees someone carrying a firearm innocently. Like for me, I would always have it concealed, carry people, or occasionally, I don't want to have one visible. If someone's coat flows open because it's concealed and it's on, and someone on the island says, "Oh, he's got a gun," they're expecting that person to get arrested. It causes a whole bunch of confusion. People need to be educated. As long as that sign says that, it could cause concern.
But you could make that argument of almost any statement on the sign besides that one. They all could cause confusion. I mean, if I'm out hunting or whatever, and I decide to go to a concert, and I'm walking and I'm carrying my gun, I can go to that concert with my rifle with me, my shotgun with me. That sign doesn't prevent me from being that, because I don't need a permit to carry it. It's an authorized gun. But if I'm carrying a pistol, something that has to be licensed, and I don't have a license, and I'm brandishing it, I said, if it has to be licensed, if I have to be licensed to carry a weapon, and I don't have a license, and I have that license, I have a weapon that should be licensed, and the police ask me, do you have a permit to carry that? And I say, no. They have the authority to off the island.
In the country, in the future, that require a license would be for automatic weapon, which is rare.
Or a permit to carry a concealed weapon.
If it's concealed, no one would know you have it.
Unless you brandished it and put it back.
Well, it's been 21 years, and so far, we haven't had a problem with a gun on the island.
My concern wasn't so, I saw the sign in law abiding, question it, because I had a lot of people who didn't want some overzealous officer or something to see it and arrest them. And then I ended up having to spend money with a lawyer, do all this stuff to be found innocent in the end. I'm one of your taxpayers. I don't want to see my taxes go up because some yahoo from Manchester decides he wants to sue because some little coward like, I don't know, some other...
Because someone decides to bring a gun to a concert.
Because someone decides to try to arrest someone for having a legally owned firearm out there.
We don't arrest people for doing legal stuff.
The town is exposing itself to the animals. I want my taxes to go on
We'll have a conversation with the chief on that, I think.
the
I think that's where we should go on that.
That, it was perceived that the authorized part wasn't on the sign.
Right.
And that's where we photographed, took a picture, and
Right.
discussed it with the chief. And they're aware that anybody can, that's legal. Or,
Can you leave
provide-
your name and number with Catherine so that we can get back in touch with you? Because Chief is coming in later, and we're going to have a conversation with them. if you wouldn't mind. No, I know you're not, and you've brought up some good points. We're just going to talk with we'll talk with the chief, and we'll get back to you.
These
I don't want you to
discussions,
just walk out and say, who was that, you know?
these discussions are always healthy.
Right.
You're welcome.
Catherine's the one on the right. All right.
So, there has been a letter, a collection letter sent out to one of the vendors of the purple bags for not paying the bill.
Same one.
And it's Winnisquam Market. It's public record. They haven't paid the bill, and a letter has been sent to them that we would like the money. That's where it's at right now.
So this is the one, they still haven't paid it since,
They paid $300 and then stopped.
but wasn't this from the beginning of summer?
This is from the end of last year, off and on.
So we're 8 months.
We've given them, I went and I talked to them. I've spoken to them twice. Waste Zero has spoken to them.
Thank you for coming in.
Now we have issued a letter. But in the short term, I would say that we should announce that Winnisquam Market won't be selling purple bags anytime soon. Although I'm sure that if you had been going to Winnisquam Market based on our list, you'd have already known that.
Are there any left up there?
There are not.
Okay.
There are not, but
They've been sold?
they sold them and then they
Okay.
didn't pay for them.
All right.
I'm not even going to go into the conversation I had with the lady, but it is what it is, and
Okay.
so that's where that stands. If you think that we should be pursuing having a hard time getting this all in.
I know.
If we should pursue another vendor at that end of town, the Agway expressed a casual interest, so maybe it's actually in Belmont, but there's no other place at that end of town, really. There's one, there is a Quickie Mart or whatever it is, right by the Shalimar. What's the name of that place?
Is that, I don't know.
Stop and Go, whatever it is. There's a small convenience store, and I forget the name of the
So
facility.
most people from Tilton that are headed that way go through on into Belmont.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Or they're coming from Laconia.
yeah.
A few of us go into Samberton.
Either way, they've got to go to right past Smoke and Barley, which is the only outlet on that end of town. The other outlets are all doing well and selling all sorts of bags, and they're paying their bills. Okay. The last thing on my list is the RFP for the Casella contract. We have a boilerplate, well, I should say the hauling contract, not for the Casella contract. We have a boilerplate RFP, which has yet to be sent out, of course. I spoke with Archie St. Hilaire, who expressed concern that we had a contract through May of, or the end of May of 2016. I had Tim do some figures. By not signing that extension now, we're leaving $90,000 out on the table. But over the course of the 5 years, not for the 2 years that we have left, but only for the 5 years. So, the board's pleasure. I would suggest we don't send out the RFP. If we don't want to extend, then we just say thank you very much, and it'll go out for RFP at the first part of 2016 or whatever, and we take whatever we can get at that point. But if we send out an RFP, and it's going to be difficult to break the contract without a vote of town meeting not authorizing funds. which is our out in that contract. If there's no funds allocated toward it by the town, then we can break the contract.
And that's not difficult.
Is it right? Is it the best way to do business? Now,
We
without,
have extended that contract for years, 4 years. The right thing to do for our taxpayers that we represent, we don't represent Casella, is to give them the best deal possible. So we have a proposal on the table in front of us that extends it out again beyond this contract year, which is what they do, dangle that carrot. So the RFP would tell us, is this the best deal possible? If it is, go with it. If it isn't, then we should do everything we can to get out of that contract.
okey dokey.
That's just my opinion. But I'm not a Casella fan either.
Everyone else?
I think it's silly to go out to RFP at this early time. Even if there's not a preponderance of people on the board that want to take the savings that Casella has offered us over the current contract, okey doke. But to put that RFP out prior to being actually able to become involved in a new contract, I don't want to just break the contract. Our word is our word,
We have
as
to
far
make
as
a
I
dec-
know.
Why do we have to make a decision on an extension right now?
We don't. I just said, if you don't want to extend, okay.
No,
But why
but
send
do we have
out
to
the
make that
RFP?
decision to extend or not to extend?
Because they've made us an
Give
offer
us an offer.
with a certain money savings over the contract the way it is right now. In exchange for that, they wanted an additional 3-year extension. Do I agree with RFPs? You bet. And the last time we voted to extend it, I voted no because we didn't do an RFP, we just extended it. So I understand completely what you're saying, Catherine.
But we extended it.
But let's not do it before
The
the,
recycling committee.
pardon me?
We extended it because that's what the recycling committee wanted us to do. Because
No.
the recycling
Dennis came in here with a thing and said, oh, this is the best thing to do, and we should do this, and the recycle committee had nothing to do with that. Now,
Yeah.
we suggested that we put the two contracts together.
But the recycle committee's contract was out beyond the other.
That's
I think
correct.
that's where it came from. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
No,
I thought
the
it came from-
contract was the selectmen's contract. The recycle committee started the initial negotiations. Tim followed it up, and after the vote of town meeting, we executed that particular contract, which was the low bid at the time. The contract for the hauling of the MSW was voted on and passed by 4-1, and we didn't have any kind of an RFP then. And it was within 6 months, as I recall. When we signed the contract for the recycling, we put both contracts together to end on the date of the contract for the recycling. That's how, if there's any, I apologize for any confusion, but it's two separate issues that was actually rolled into one. So if we don't want to, like I say, if we're going to put it out for RFP, okey dokey, there is a cost to that. $22,000 the first year and just slightly less than that the second year. So that's 40 grand. And then we put it out for bid, and we'll see what happens in 2016 if you all think that that's the best way to go.
Does everybody agree?
That's an either-or thing now.
No, I know, but Catherine had made a statement to go ahead with the RFP.
You can't make a decision on extending it if you don't know if there's better deals out there.
Where did the 22,000, if we RFP it?
$22,000, they took and they offered us a discount over the current contract of $22,000. And that would carry on in further years with a slight index for the consumer price index or whatever, and Tim has actually got them to waive most of that. So the total over 5 years would be $90,000 less than what we're paying if we just paid for 5 years and didn't pay a nickel more. If it didn't go up in 2, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in 2 years, none of us do. Might be less, hey, I don't know that. Could be a whole lot more. It's about the hauling, as far as I can tell, because Casella has the facility on 140, and nobody else has one anywhere close to that for the recyclable. Hell, they're only hauling to Pennacook. Everybody's going to haul to Pennacook for MSW. That's a set thing. But the recycling has to go somewhere.
So my question was, if we go out and get RFPs, it's going to cost us $22,000?
No, not necessarily. If we do not extend the contract, we lose the $22,000 discount this year that they've offered
It
us.
doesn't cost us anything to do that.
Why would we lose the $22,000 that was offered to us because we extended the contract last time? That $22,000 was a part of that.
No,
Because they can withdraw the offer anytime.
This is a new thing. They've offered to extend an additional 3 years, and I gave you the letter.
I
All right.
read the letter.
This
Go
is
ahead,
the-
Joyce.
No, the whole reason this even came about is because Tim had spoken with Joe or Archie. He had data showing, like, wait a minute, all we're doing, we're collecting the same amount of refuse, even less, and we're just shifting it from MSW to recycling. Give us a break here. So that's, he came back and said, okay, well, we'll give you a break of $22,000 for the next 2 years of the contract, which is the first year of the contract. But you're gonna have to extend it another 2 years.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's how we lose $22,000, or actually close to $40,000 over 2 years.
Except the argument is still valid. Here we are in the contract period, and Tim's argument is valid for right now.
They won't give us that.
No, because we've got to extend it.
Right, but my feeling is that we've just been our current contract now for MSW goes back to 2008. It's been extended and extended and extended and extended and how many of our extensions? They've given us great service, they've given us great price. Okay? And now when we did with the MSW...
And there's probably going to be giving us great service in years to come. However, I think I agree with Catherine. It is our due diligence to go out there to make sure that we are getting the best price for the town of Tilton.
And
We make that a
I
motion.
agree with that.
We did already made a motion. We went out to go
Shrink
to
our current contract.
RFPs, yeah.
So we will do it, and we'll be well ahead of the game. We'll have, because now we've got good data.
We can, I think we should continue on. John, you said something about a motion. What did you want to
Yeah,
do?
there's a motion to go out for RFPs?
Yes.
Yeah, we made it a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, we did it.
But we
Okay,
can't break our contract. We
Right.
will go up for RFP, it's just a little too soon.
Right.
It's never too soon. Why is it
So
too
what do you
soon?
tell Pinard and Waste Management and Witcher and all the rest of them? Yeah, we want an RFP, but it's not going to start till 2016. And are we dealing in bad faith with Casella if we're intentionally trying to break a contract? I don't like the idea of breaking the contract.
We're not going to break a contract. Why would...
Then what do you tell Pinard? Yeah, we want an RFP, but for
Because
2016?
before we
Yes.
extend this out for more years, we'd like to know, is it
How much is it-
possible to get a better deal?
Right. How are we going to
If not,
find out?
Then,
Gather
okay, we can talk about breaking the contract, or we can not, and still argue with Casella that, you know what? Tim's argument is correct. You're hauling less garbage.
I don't see any...
So why are we
harm in
paying the
motion.
same amount for hauling less garbage?
Right.
Plus I don't have the contract in front of me, but I think it was a 3% escalator.
Okay. I think we should...
They're willing to negotiate that, according to
I
Tim.
think we've really thought this one out. I think we should, the board's consensus is to continue with the RFP process.
Window shopping.
Let's have a real official motion here.
We did 2 weeks ago.
I'm pretty sure it was a consensus project then.
Make a motion that we go out for the RFP for RFP for solid waste.
MSW and recycling.
MSW and recycling.
Second.
Term would be
The
starting.
term would be starting 2016. And Catherine Dawson seconded it?
I have a question.
Any discussion?
Yep. Were those two contracts combined as one, are they still two separate tracks with the same expiration date?
Separate contract.
The latter.
with The same expiration date.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the latter.
So we could actually end up with, okay, never mind. I'll keep my thought to myself.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, let's move on. Who else has something for us tonight?
That's all of my stuff.
I have something, just gotta find it.
Motion to adjourn. No.
Well, you go ahead, while I'm looking.
Conservation Commission met. You already got the gist of what we talked about for the fence and the guardrail.
Yep.
That's, Joyce is working on that. Chuck, Kathy, and I went down last Saturday, and we're cutting off the buckthorn back. I've been going over to the bank, and Chuck and Kathy pull the rope. So anybody who would like to go out there, we've been going Saturday mornings a lot by 7 o'clock, and the view from behind Salmon Run East, formerly called Ernie's, you can see the trestle, and it's beautiful. Just to see what is really there and what's going to
What
look.
time do you start down there, John?
We've been starting like 7:30.
8 o'clock, you say?
Today.
Excellent.
Anytime. By. And just in 2 hours, a couple people can get a lot of stuff done, and we're progressing down to get that buckthorn out.
If you're still there at noon, I might help.
I'll come down Saturday morning.
And so we've been putting the brush up there, and that looks great. And I think there was just the money with Lowe's went on where it was determined we couldn't really use it that quickly for Lowe's, and I brought up to Chuck, well, hey, bandstand needs a new roof.
Yep.
And so that's going great.
That was perfect, yeah.
I think that's Budget Committee. We'll be meeting again next month.
They didn't have a quorum.
I think there's
We need a new member on the Budget Committee.
member.
Yep.
Mo
Lose one?
Yes.
always,
Who'd we lose?
The new person had to,
she moved, I believe. I haven't gotten.
he moved.
She wasn't there for a month.
Wasn't there?
So we are looking for another Budget Committee member. This is a fun, exciting thing to do on your Wednesday nights.
And a very important part of the
With the
town.
fun group,
And
Let's not
that's it.
let's not get crazy now.
Yeah, we give out candy too.
Oh, there you go.
Very rewarding. That's all I can.
Can I add one thing in?
yeah.
Pat? This last weekend, there was a volunteer day at the Pines Community Center.
Yeah.
And they stained and they painted and they've done washing and waxing. They were closed for the entire week, but a whole bunch of people showed up, and the T-Hop people down here supplied them with pizza, and they had
Nice.
soda and water. And if you haven't, it looks great over there. All freshly cleaned and painted and worked on, and if you haven't been over to see the work they've done at the Pines Community Center, please go on by and check it out.
Thanks.
Great.
I found it.
If there's,
I found it.
oh, go ahead. I was gonna say, if there's no more business in the public. Almost got it done.
I have two things. Just a reminder, the primary is going to be on the 9th of September,
Okay?
so setup will be on Monday, the 8th. We need to make sure Dennis is reminded of that. So she usually goes over there, what, at 2:30, I think, to set up? And it's the selectmen's responsibility for for the location of the polling place, which has already been chosen, and setting it up, make sure the supplies are in place, et cetera, et cetera. It's a state primary, so I believe the handicap booth will have to be set up and working. So it'll have to be tested.
Who will be at the polls? Joe?
Yep.
Me?
I can be there in the morning. Chuck's appointing me as assistant moderator for the afternoon.
Okay.
I'll be doing that with Chuck.
I can be there, whatever you need me fill in.
I can be there most of the day in and out because I'm actually going to be, when I'm not in, I'm going to be out with a T-shirt that says, Jane, you know who for rep.
What time do you start in the morning with the polls?
8.
That's when the polls open? What time is 7?
They usually get there around 7:30.
Yeah.
I can go there for like an hour then. I have an appointment at 9.
Okay.
I can get there for setup.
Do you want me to cover the morning?
Yeah.
Let me
I'll
cover
be
you.
there till
It
8.
doesn't matter if there's two of us there. I'll come in the morning too, so you can just leave at your leisure, not worry.
8:30.
But I'm not going to be assistant moderator.
I just say, it was a bogus
I'm
question.
not helping you with that one, darling.
All right?
Okay, I have one other thing.
Scared me.
It has to do with the police and I should say not responding. If you want to wait until the chief's here, I can do it later, or I can fill you in now. What's your pleasure?
I'd rather the chief be here to answer it,
I was going to ask him later too.
because I want to hear about it.
Okay, then I'll save it for
Okay.
him.
Can you text the chief and see when you... Okay. We have several things in non-public, which may or may not take some time. 6:30 is the swearing-in ceremony of officers that are being promoted, and there is awards being done tonight at 6:30. We have to come out of non-public, it's 6 o'clock now, by at least 25 past, so that we can allow the people to come up and get right on task, and then we'll go back into non-public when the rest of the public is gone, all right? I tried to get everything done ahead of time, but it was close. All right, make a motion that we go into non-public per RSA 91A:3. We have legal, personnel, matters which would adversely affect the reputation of one, and that's it.
Second.
Roll call vote? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Where is the chief?
I haven't got a clue. I think they feel they have a zoning ordinance that enables them.
Meeting as they pertain to personnel permanently, as they pertain to legal issues until such time as such issues might be decided.
Wow, second, that was really cool.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Were you going to go down here?
I am.
We need, do we want just the chief first?
Yes,
If he's there.
Before.
just you for now.
Oh,
Or you want to do the ceremony right now, because everybody's waiting?
we can do the ceremony.
Let's do everybody.
And then we'll do the chief after. It shouldn't take long.
We'll talk to the chief after.
Yep. We were waiting for the chief only, and that's what happened.
I kept looking over to see if he was here yet.
Right. He misunderstood and was waiting for everybody downstairs. Who are we doing first?
Could have gotten out of here. Did you want to?
Is the American flag is supposed to be on the right, isn't that
American flag is on your,
right? Right.
I don't know.
Will you raise your right hand?
Raise your right hand. Sounds good to me.
It's the opposite of the way it was when we set up for the...
Okay.
How about
I
now?
just turned him around. Okay.
So get rid of the other and it'll just be behind you.
Wow, there's a crowd down there now.
Come on in.
How are you?
Come on in, everyone, have a seat.
We're gonna get the money, we're gonna tell them after. I don't know what your thoughts are, but
I wonder if he'll have a lawyer.
he ain't that right. He ain't that right. That's correct, too.
Yeah, I know why. Does he know why?
Oh my goodness, look at this. Who's patrolling on the streets?
Probably St. Al's.
James Pub is having a fit. What's going on? There's all this police presence.
Now you're gonna have to stay later.
Yeah, no, I just texted out because everyone's like, can we go up there? And I said, let me double check.
Oh, that's why everybody was waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, he does.
It'll be
Catherine.
brief.
All right, is Steve here?
Yeah,
What do you want to do first?
Brief.
At the end, it'll be brief.
Yeah, we'll do Steve first, and then Nate, and then I have
think they're doing pretty good.
just a couple of letters of appreciation for a couple of people here, but those I can get through pretty quick.
What?
We got a heck of a turnout, Chief.
Yeah, it's cool.
Did your mom dress up at the 80s party?
No, she okay.
Let me just take a look at it.
Knew when it was a good time to get out of town. Hoodies weren't that great. I'm not going to the party.
It was, I think we had like 35 people.
Oh, nice.
With a DJ.
Yeah? Nice. It wasn't all that loud. I didn't hear it.
No? Well, but all the music was facing off the drugs.
Yeah, out in the woods. So the trailer park people were the ones that were complaining.
11:30 that night.
Yeah.
We were cranking.
To be signed stickies, can I borrow?
I feel like a piece.
No, I didn't hear it at all.
So did she not hold the button down?
Yeah, a lot of people think that them. They don't hold it constantly.
Well, I think that's great.
A lot of people think
that's
they just
great.
need to push it.
Keeps us out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You have to continually hold the button until it reaches,
The video's out there.
I've been to a few parties in my time.
and then it'll quit.
So don't forget to
least
sign
two.
the PARs.
Say,
Here they come, here they come.
yeah.
Dawson, why are you looking so good?
Because she's happy and
It's for
healthy.
sure.
Oh, no.
You're so tan and
I've been
smiley,
hanging.
and I love your hair. You look so
Fencing.
good.
Thank
I just
you.
had to say, you look fantastic.
Thank you. It's farming.
Fantastic. And you, great job helping out with the, I tried to
I
call
was going
you.
to say, what exactly does she want? If she comes down here and starts complimenting us, I know something's up.
The
You're gonna know to me.
Yeah, the
Ain't
bandstand.
nothing to get.
It's primarily used for.
It is a, no, technically it is a gazebo, but Allison and I got in a little bit of a tiff at
Before you start, let me tell you something.
I said, cover the bandstand.
We will get it done.
Oh, yeah.
And we're right on the cusp of getting it done.
Oh, good.
Lois and all that,
Good, good.
too. So, yeah, we'll be done by
That
the
was so nice of you to go and help,
25th.
though. Good job, though. I was very
You
happy
should
to
join
hear.
us on Saturday mornings for our brush cutting along the river.
Wow.
Okay, everyone, welcome to the Selectmen's meeting. On occasion, throughout our duties as selectmen, we have the distinct honor of promoting through the ranks. This time, we were initially only going to promote one. We ended up promoting two. So it's our distinct pleasure to have two officers raising in the ranks from patrol officer, detective, to detective corporal, and patrol corporal. And so without ado, we'll have them, each of them come up, and do you have somebody special that's going to pin badge? Okay. One at a time. And then we have an award, and then the chief has a couple of other things to do, so if everyone just holds their places, that would be great.
Pictures too.
Yeah, sure.
You guys want to come up?
Yep.
No, it's just me. I'm a trip hazard.
Where's Steve?
Where are you going?
Officer Stephen Henry.
She's taking pictures.
That's right.
Whereas there's a vacancy in the full-time position of corporal in the town of Tilton, whereas we, the subscribers, have confidence in your ability and integrity to perform the duties of said office, do hereby appoint Steve Henry to the full-time position of corporal for the town of Tilton, New Hampshire, which shall be effective as of September 1st, 2014. So you're going to raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Stephen P. Henry,
I, Stephen P. Henry,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent on me
all the duties incumbent upon me
as a full-time corporal
as a full-time corporal
for the town of Tilton, New Hampshire,
for the town of Tilton, New Hampshire,
according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my ability,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the United States Constitution
of the United States Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire.
so help me God.
So help me God.
No.
Absolutely. Hey, Leo. Take a picture.
Want to get up there with Daddy? All right, kids, want to get up there with Daddy?
Brody, Dalen, come on. Come on up. Come on up here.
Group photo.
Want to take a picture?
How exciting.
Nice one. Great job.
Good job. Say congratulations to Daddy. Oh, God, I
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Corporal.
much. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Officer Nathan Buffington.
Yay, Nate.
Whereas there is a vacancy in the position of full-time corporal in the town of Tilton, and whereas we, the subscribers, have confidence in your ability and integrity to perform the duties of said office, do hereby appoint Nathan P. Buffington to the position of full-time corporal for the town of Tilton, New Hampshire, which shall be effective September 1st, 2014. Repeat after me. I, Nathan P. Buffington,
I, Nathan P. Buffington,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and perform all the duties incumbent on me
perform all the duties incumbent on me
as a full-time corporal for the town of Tilton,
as a full-time corporal for the town of Tilton,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of the United States Constitution
of the United States Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws in the state of New Hampshire.
so help me God.
So help me.
Congratulations.
Badge proof vest.
Congratulations. Get ready to take pictures now. It is.
Thank you. Oops, one more bit.
One more.
You earned it, buddy.
Thank you.
Outstanding. John Rath, Chief of I asked that question at the time we discussed it. Oh, no, they said.
First of all, I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight.
Oh, God, later. Sorry, Chief.
It's all right. I'm extremely proud of the work and time and effort they put into that process. The competition was extremely tough, very tough, probably the tightest we've had for a promotional process, and the board said these two were very professional and excelled, and they were incredibly impressed with how they did in the process at the beginning of August. And so I'm very proud of both of them. Congratulations, guys. I'm also blessed to have an incredible department of hardworking officers, day in and day out. And for those of you who stop in the PD and check and see the work they do, I know many of you do here, Al and Catherine and Pat and Joe and John. You guys see behind the scenes all the work and all the calls they're handling day in and day out, thousands of calls, and they really do put 110% to try and make Tilton the safest community possible. And it's hard for me to have any favorites, and I don't. I respect and admire all of them, and I'm blessed to have all of them. What I try to do once a year is I try to highlight some officers that go above and beyond on a particular call. You know, they work hard. They never ask for any recognition. They never expect any recognition. They just do it because they know that's the right thing to do. But when I go through the log and I see a particular call where they really went above and beyond, and maybe in that particular instance might have saved someone's life or made a huge difference in someone's life, I think it's important for us to recognize that, and I don't want to miss that opportunity. And I told the officers, even though they never want a pat on the back, you're going to get one anyway. And so I got to put on my glasses, but I just want to recognize a couple of things in the last year that some of them have done. Can I have Abe Gilman come up, please? Abe, if you're in the building. So Abe's my first one, and he's also one of my recent drafts, and we love him. He's doing an incredible job for us. Back on December 26th, at approximately 1 in the afternoon, Tilton Police responded to a call of a suspicious male dressed in black walking through the yards. The call followed weeks of burglaries in the area. We were getting frustrated because we didn't have any leads. Officer Gilman arrived on scene and by taking the initiative started to walk the area behind the yards and eventually picked up some tracks and began to follow those tracks. Those tracks eventually led him to a house, and that house had the front door broken into. So Abe realized this potentially could be the suspect. With signs of burglary, Abe requested backup. Additional units came. They eventually searched this vacant house and found a burglary suspect hiding under the bed. If it wasn't for Abe's attention to detail to get out of the car, and I have to remind you, this was a very cold, snowy day where a lot of us would be tempted to keep the heat on and the windows up and just drive around looking for him. Abe started to go through the weather, go through the snow, find these tracks, and eventually put together an outstanding burglary arrest that solved not only one burglary but several. And so on this day, August 28, 2014, I'd like to recognize Abe Gilman. Thank you. Next one, if I could have Officer Rich Ort come up. And can I get my Northfield Officer Adam to come up too? Because this is really a team effort, this one. So I got a heads up to look at this call. Back on June 28th, Tilton Police responded to Chili's for a welfare check of a female who had left the location threatening suicide. Her whereabouts and her home address were unknown. Obviously, that's kind of a scary moment for all of us. If someone's threatening suicide and we don't know where they are, certainly trying to find them as quick as possible is important. Using her cell phone and other information, officers working together eventually located her house in Northfield, and she was in a medical emergency condition. No doubt about it, from everything I'm told, she probably wouldn't have made it had you guys not put this together. For that reason, Officer Ort and Officer Segelman's investigative skills, determination, and attention to detail most likely saved her life. And so, on this date, August 28, 2014, I'd like to thank both of you guys. Take yours to Northfield. Thank you. If I can get Officer Jeremiah Trott in the room, if you can come up. I think everyone at the PD knows that Officer Trott, besides being a lot taller than me, is
stand further back.
Yeah, further back.
is one of the hardest chargers we have. He just goes non-stop. He runs circles around all of us. He does it day in and day out. He's been doing it for years. He puts in so much work in an 8-hour shift, it's sometimes mind-boggling. And I never really get a chance to thank him, but tonight I'm going to. So while assigned to Patrol Division in the last 3 years, it's actually a little bit less. You've handled 187 criminal investigations in patrol, 233 arrests just yourself, and booked a total of 254 prisoners for our agency. If the guys know, these are some big numbers. These don't come by accident and they don't come easy. You continuously lead patrol force in activity in your attempt to make Tilton a safer community. Your service and dedication is greatly appreciated. And as Chief, I'd like to recognize you for all your hard work. Thank you.
Stand still, Jeremy.
They're on there. I'll take So, I have one more tonight. And like I said, all my officers do an incredible amount of work for me, and I hope I get to recognize everything that you guys do, and I'm certainly going to try. My next one is Officer Jesse Renaud, if you could come out. So, a couple weeks ago, I got a call from someone who I didn't know, who said they were out to dinner at a restaurant down in Concord, and they said they started to choke, and it was real serious, and they said that an off-duty Tilton police officer had saved their life. Well, naturally, that caught my attention, so I asked more about it, and so on the night of August 5th, 2014, Officer Renaud was off duty in a restaurant in Concord with his family when an individual began choking on some food. The restaurant was crowded and people began to panic, shouting, "Call 911." Off-duty Officer Jesse Renaud rushed to his aid and quickly performed the Heimlich maneuver, dislodging it as the man started to lose consciousness. For your quick actions, you are hereby awarded the Department Life-Saving Award. Thank you. And see if I can do this without...
You want me to start taking my uniform?
Yeah. I'll give you these.
Jesse, look this way. All right. Great.
Come over here so we can
Thank you.
congratulate you.
Before this falls off, let me just stop for a sec.
And just for a side note, the person that Jesse saved is here tonight. If you could just raise your hand. Paul Smith. The first thing I said to Paul was, I'm glad you're okay and I'm glad we could help. A little side note, Paul was with the Fire and EMS service down in Manchester for 30 years. He himself performed the Heimlich on probably dozens of people in Manchester, responded to all kinds of medical emergencies down there. So he really appreciated what Jesse did, having done this himself to people. So thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate it.
We have some coffee and refreshments, so, stay a little bit and have...
Children that want some cookies.
I know there's some little kids that would like some cookies over there.
Those are good cookies, too. Okay, it's back on now.
Okay, we're back from our little break. It was great. Nice awards. Thank you, Chief. That was really great.
Absolutely.
Did we film that?
Yes, we did film that. At this time, we have one last non-public. Before the non-public, is there anything else that needs to come before public session?
Did we do this?
Yes, we did that and I signed it.
Okay, I just couldn't remember.
With Joyce, during Joyce's
Oh, I couldn't remember.
Make a motion to go into non-public as it pertains per RSA 91A:3, public safety.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Everybody says yes.
Yes.
These are the PARs for the...
And we're wrapped. I would like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public record as they pertain to public safety
Permanently.
permanently.
Second. Yes.
All those in favor? Yes.
I had a request from the Stewart Management, who manages the property, I think they own it too, across from Riverfront Parks, ingress and egress. It's those apartment buildings across the way.
The White House thing?
Yeah, I think there's a number of them back there
Yeah,
if you drive
I
in.
know what you mean.
They're going to be paving, so they're looking for places to put 5 cars. They asked the park commissioners about using the parking at Riverfront Park, and they didn't have an issue, as long as it was at night after the park's used, because it's during the week, not the weekends. The dates are September 8th, 9th, and 10th. So,
3 days to pave that that driveway?
well, there's a lot of, if you go out back, there's a lot of area.
All right.
So this includes overnight as well?
Still
Yes.
seems excessive.
Well-
Yeah.
So they're looking for a place to park during the day. And I told them, we had a municipal parking lot, a lot of network managers, there's parking along the highway. So he asked me if these cars could utilize the parking lot at network managers. There's 5 of them. But again, I told him I don't know how we...
The municipal spaces?
Yeah, how we would dedicate the spaces to them, but I told them I bring it to the selectmen. I also told them,
The church, can we go to the?
he's tried to contact the diocese without, a lot of help, but
The church doesn't want to allow any parking because of the fiasco that they had a couple years ago where people on Chestnut Street that didn't have parking in the winter wanted to park in their small place. But what happened was they parked and didn't move the vehicles, and then they couldn't plow, and it became a mess during church.
And if those people see cars in the parking lot, they're gonna figure it's fair game, no matter what we do.
maybe that's why the diocese didn't call them back. But,
Right, so they're not gonna...
so I told him I'd talk to the selectmen about it. The park commissioners agreed to allow them, like I said, and I said we'd need to know their license plate numbers and makes of vehicles, so we could supply it to the police department. So what they would know there was an exception to these vehicles being parked, or front park overnight.
Same applies for like up here, license plate, car.
I think that if it's only for 3 days, I think that if we notify the police department, and we need to talk to you after about another one that we did a little bit earlier, but I think that we need to notify the PD, and we need to notify Public Works, and it's an exception for those 3 days only, and then go from there. There's not that many people that park there. I do know the store parks there during the day, the employees, so that it opens up parking for the customers in their parking lot, which is not a problem. I
This
don't
is
have a problem
nighttime
with
only?
No, this is,
So
there may be people that, for whatever reason, don't want to or can't. Most of these people are going to be working. But I guess my understanding is, sounded like, he didn't say specifically, there might be somebody that just needs a place to put their car, and it's a car, if they need to go someplace, they'll go get it, but most of the time, they don't drive.
Right.
Instead of trying to get these lists of numbers and all that, could we just get on a letterhead, say that this person or this vehicle has permission and they have to leave it on their dashboard and it's valid from this date to that date only and this time, that time only? And then that way, if the police go to see it, they don't have to, who's got the number, who's got this, it'll match up, will be on the dashboard.
Would that be a better solution?
And,
Well, the park commissioners already voted to get license and registration, so I'm going to have them
well,
anyway.
they can have that list too, but I think to have it on the dashboard is real quick.
Well, you already issued temporary overnight.
I've got something real quick that people will think about till next Thursday, and they won't be thinking hard about it.
I can't hear you, can you speak up?
Terry could provide them with some temporary dashboards from the list that Catherine gets.
Put date expires or...
It would
It would say expired.
And then they're really clear about, well, I thought it meant I could do in the afternoon.
Which reminds me, don't we have new ones coming up this year? The expiration?
I'll check with Terry. Terry's on top of all that.
Okay.
On the permits. We have to renew by October 1st of each year.
All right, Al has something before.
Real quick, think about it till next Thursday. What we're gonna do about manning this building at all times when people leave, such an instance we had this past week.
This past Thursday.
This past Thursday, when our town clerk decided she didn't have to come into the building and left her worker by herself. So we need to come up with a plan.
Because there's nobody else in the building at all?
Nobody.
No, everybody was leaving, everybody had plans, and we didn't know about it until
late in the afternoon?
Bang.
She can always call me if I'm available, I'll come.
You weren't
But that's-
available.
That's not even, the problem is.
I understand what
we
you're
need to get
saying.
Not something.
We need to have a policy in place. It's like, when I found out about it the next day, I had said that, in my opinion, my vote would have been, if you couldn't find anybody, we have an employee that's, we've already deemed as unsafe to have just one person in this town hall.
Right.
Close the building. And that's our purview, as this Board of Selectmen, is to close our building.
I'd hate to go.
And I had a conversation with the town clerk tax collector about it, and she did say, you can't close my office. I said, Cindy, we, Board of
Come on, the
Board of
front door of that
Selectmen
building and you could
can
stay
close
open.
this building if we have an employee in an unsafe situation.
What time is it? Like all the other employees leave at 4?
It very,
4:15.
4:15.
4:15, and this is
5:30 on
Thursday
Thursdays.
until 5:30.
Right. And
Unless we're not here.
But there have been many occasions where, we have employees that have their own lives, that have made commitments to their family and plans that have last minute have all of a sudden say,
Change.
oh, there's nobody here to stay with Kim. So I have gotten calls, and I've been down here, and I would have come that night had I not had a doctor's appointment. However, if we had known earlier in the morning, we could have made phone calls and...
I'd have come. I'd come.
It's not acceptable.
I know.
It's not acceptable the day of.
No.
Acceptable to me is a week notice. You know we were gonna be closed. You knew we weren't gonna be in a meeting till 5:30.
Did she call Kim and said, Kim, I'm not coming back?
No, she said she wasn't coming back.
She told Kim she wasn't coming back.
That's correct, right.
So,
Give a reason?
And she didn't care that there was...
She was at a
no-
golf tournament.
She's responsible for her office and coverage of her office.
but, let's say, think about it, we'll make a comment something next week. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
And it's just that simple. I wish you were here. Come on down next week.